Live. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Otter Players Podcast, episode 27, where we're going to get into everything that's been going on this week, the rise and fall of Bungie, everything going on with the ins and the outs of that deal, what is going to be the fate of Destiny 2, Xbox delaying Avowed, Activision and Blizzard making a AA studio, of all things, with their Xbox counterparts, and so much more. But again, welcome everybody who's going to join us, everybody who listens later. We're going to jump right into the intros and jump right into it. So, Weeb, how are you, man? What have you been playing?
Hello, Otter Nation. Yes, I'm good.
Otter Nation.
Otter Nation, yeah. Probably let's start with it and end with it, of course. I've
Nice.
been playing Neon White, or rather, I've already finished it.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. It was on Game Pass, of course. Xbox Master Race. Uh, but, yeah, no, with by collecting cards. And each weapon has also a secondary ability which you trigger by discarding the card, and it's usually traversal, so you can get an extra jump or a dash forward, and you have to use them to get through the level and defeat all enemies, and then get to the finish. And it's pretty fun. It's also pretty fun to try to challenge yourself to get through it as quickly as possible, because you also get rankings every level, and there's collectibles you can find. So yeah, it's pretty fun. And each level, there's like I've seen some crazy videos of people who are doing like I think somebody could like finish the game in like 35 minutes or something, because of how quickly you can go through all the levels. There are some shortcuts you can take, like one where you get a sort of grappling hook ability, and you're supposed to just go through, the motions and all the steps to get from A to B. But I found out you could actually target grappling points as far as you can see, so you can actually get to the finish line in like a ridiculous amount of time. So yeah, that's kind of fun to do. Story is not really that important. It's just mainly puzzle action game. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of wanted to start playing. I wanted to finish it, of course, and that. I guess the only sad thing is I won't get any trophies from it.
Wait,
So
what?
not really incentive. Yeah, because it's an Xbox.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and they don't have Vlad, so I'm not really that motivated to to go the extra mile. I did all the collectibles and get all the the medals for the speed runs, but
Mm.
other than that, like, I wasn't really feeling doing go the extra mile and doing all the new modes that unlock after you finish the game. But yeah, I mean, pretty fun game. Do recommend it if you have Game Pass, then yeah, you should play it. Even though I know most people don't play games who don't get Game Pass. That's a different story.
Absolutely.
Oh man. Mm.
But or yeah, if it's on sale, also I highly recommend it. It's definitely a fun game that's worth your time. Yeah, and now I have to figure out what I'm gonna play next, which unfortunately it's more of a matter of having too much choice. Yeah, I did was enticed with some of the sales that were happening now at the PSN store, so I also bought a couple of games there. I'll still have my massive backlog, and there's of course games still coming. So yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I'll probably find something to play, and yeah, I'll just shoot my backlog
Yeah,
as every other gamer in this podcast, and hope that at some point I see the end of the line
that's
in
the
the
plan.
tunnel.
That's the plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, early retirement, hopefully, and that'll help plenty.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, that's the
yes.
plan.
I think I'm good at least for till retirement with my backlog.
That's what's up. I'm kind of in the same way. Like I've been playing stuff and just kind of moving through things. I said there's a bunch of stuff I'm coming towards the end of, so I definitely get you where you're just like I gotta figure out what I want to play, not necessarily a lack of something to play. So yeah,
Hmm.
I definitely get that. Uh, Morgan, how are you this week, ma'am? And what have you been playing?
I'm good. Tired, but good. Um, yeah, so I've been still trying to make a headway on Knitsugami, Path of the Goddess. Yeah, I got to a point where it's definitely kicking my ass. Like, can't even lie. Um,
That difficulty
I'm
spike
gonna
showing
have
up
to.
again.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a difficulty spike. It's just more that I've been able to, with like the rest of the levels, kind of just wing it. Like, you know, I strategized, but not. It wasn't that hard, like for me. But this level, I was like, oh wait a minute.
Okay.
I probably need to think a little bit more because I kind of just go with my gut, like to pick which class to make my villagers. You know,
Okay, so
kind
now
of
you're
maybe
having
like
to give it a lot more thought.
yeah, like I usually just like mostly axemen, then a few and then a few like bowmen, and then I
Mm-hmm.
just just call it a day. But I tried that in this level, and they were like, no. So I'm gonna have
Ooh.
to, yeah, okay. I think because this one there's an environmental factor along with it,
Oh my
so it
God.
makes it a lot harder. So yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of rethink my strategy, and I haven't had to change my like my talismans and stuff like that at all, really. But now I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to change my talismans around, my little power ups, like all the little perks that we have in the game. I'm gonna have to choose them wisely for this specific level. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board on that. But other than that, yeah, I'm making some headway in the game. It's still fun. But I did just recently, like when I say recently, I mean like today, pick up another indie. Like, yes, I know I have no shame apparently.
Addiction.
Listen, it's all right. um, it's called Thank Goodness You're Here. I like literally just started it. It's not long. Apparently, like the game's only like 2 or 3 hours long. So I'll
Okay.
probably like, finish it today. But like yeah, I just started it and it's so funny. It's hilarious. I don't know if anybody here's ever watched the series on HBO called it's the animated adult animated series called Smiling Friends. It's that kind of adult humor South Parkish style adult animation. Like that's the vibes I'm getting from this. It's like Adventure Time meets with South Park mixed with Smiling Friends, and I've been like laughing for like 15 minutes straight playing this. But I also have like the sense of humor of like a 10-year-old boy, so it doesn't really take much to make me laugh. But I will say it is very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny little indie, and I plan on finishing it. Anything that makes me smile or laugh, I highly enjoy. So I'm enjoying this, and
I
I'll probably
feel
finish
you
it
with
today.
that one.
Um, but yeah, that's basically all I've been playing. Been trying to distract myself so that I don't get back into um, Death Stranding, which I really, really want to, but I'm trying to hold myself off. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Sounds good. Another surprise pickup then? Is that what that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it on PlayStation's Twitter. I'm gonna call it Twitter. I don't care. Um, when they tweeted the schedule of games to release in August, this was one of them. Because apparently this is a PlayStation, Switch, and PC exclusive. Like I don't, it's not on Xbox for whatever reason. but
Oh, another one.
they said it was yeah, they said it was out now. So I was like, okay, it was an indie, and so I like I watched the trailer, and then I was like, interesting, and then I looked at a little review of it, and I said, oh, okay, this is right down my alley. Okay, I love childish humor. I'm all for it. So,
No
and it's
doubt.
only like if you want it, if there's a discount for PS Plus members, and I think it's like $17, so it's not expensive. So if anybody's looking for some like stupid humor type indie, like I said, I just started and I was immediately laughing. Um, it's called, like I said, it's called Thank Goodness You're Here. $17 on PS5. I'm sure it's cheap as hell on Switch and PC too. It's got high rating. I think it was like a 9 out of 10 on Steam or something like that. And everywhere I've seen it, I've seen the reviews. Everybody, it's like a 9 out of 10 everywhere I look. So
That's
apparently
amazing.
Is
people like it.
it is it interactive or does it have gameplay?
It's more of an interactive kind of thing,
Mm.
platforming, puzzle solving kind of
Oh, okay.
thing. So
Gotcha.
yeah, it's that.
That's what's up. Uh, another surprise. I don't know. It'll be interesting to count all your surprises at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They keep popping up. But yeah, that's what's up. Uh, so not last but not least, Omar, man, what have you been playing, sir? You've actually been focused for once, it seems, on one game. So,
Hey, I always focus on one game when I want to beat it.
So what you
Okay,
been
so
playing, man?
this one I'm playing none other than Remnant 2. And as someone that's already beaten Remnant 1, I am having a blast. It's a story, don't ask me. You're the good guy, defeating the bad guy. Simple. It's super basic. It's lore based. I hate lore games. That have always been my issue with what you call it, Souls games. Lore. So yeah, don't ask me about the story. Um, Visuals, it does look good. It's the same as one. Like I don't recall that much improvement between the Fed and 2. As for quality of control, I I don't know. It feels like they took one, made copy paste, put two instead of it. Just they added a few new classes and they added some gameplay mechanic, but like a big change from Borderlands to 2 or 2 to 3, we don't have that over here. Um, I am. eh, So my thing is the guns are great. The skills that you use are fantastic. Like you can build your character up the way you want it to be built. Of course, the broken builds are gonna be on YouTube. You're gonna look them up. My biggest complaint would be it's too many what you call it abnormal puzzle. What obscure puzzles. What I mean by that is like they hide so much shit that if you don't pay attention, you miss it. And I'm not talking just looking up every nookie and cranny. No, you actually for one class get it. You need to get out of bound just to grab it and then die. And then you can have it. I'm like, who the fuck is going to do that? Like I went to the comment section and a lot of people they're like, as someone that played games and look everything not look like play through thoroughly. How am I supposed to find this? So this is the game type of game that I'm happy I'm playing with YouTube on. Otherwise, like half of it, I would not be even having. When it comes to weapons, when it comes to skills, this, that, and get this. Oh, I forgot to mention about this game. This game is um it's per, not per se uh, a roguelike, but more like um you can say it is a roguelike because there are two areas, and every area is have two ways that it can be done for you, and each way have its own bosses and loots and stuff like that. So it's not a big randomizer, but the randomize exists within the game. But yeah, that's about it for me. Like, I wanted to play Flintlock, but my PC was like, "Nope, you want to play it on double-digit FPS? Unless you figure out what's going on with your PC, which I know my PC can run it, you're not gonna enjoy Flintlock." So I dropped it.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
I actually found out what that issue was.
okay.
Apparently there is a issue going on with Unreal Engine 5 and Intel CPUs right now, specifically both generations that we have. So that is apparently what's going on because the machine that I told you
I
Priscilla played it on has an AMD CPU, and yeah, that's apparently where that issue's coming from. So, evidently they're waiting for
I
Epic to
swear,
patch it.
PC and the problem.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but usually there's a way around it. Sometimes you can kind of force it. I haven't looked into it more than that, but I did find out that was actually the issue going on. So
Gotcha.
yeah, sometimes it pops
Yeah,
up, sometimes it doesn't, which is why you were able to play it at first, and then it
I
crashed.
played the demo.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Unreal Engine 5's definitely got to get its stuff together. Can't be having that going
Gotcha.
on. But yeah, as for me, um, I'm still going for the platinum on Super Robot Wars T. I'm almost done. I really just gotta finish the campaign. But anyone who's actually played these games, they are really long, and the further you get into the campaign, the um how do I say it? The amount of enemies that they pile on and stuff, it gets pretty extensive. So even though your team is strong and you can handle it, no problem, you still run into taking quite a bit of time to complete the levels, and then I have to do it in a specific way for to make sure I get something called SR points, because that's one of the last trophies I have. I have to get perfect SR points throughout the entire campaign. So yeah, I'm still enjoying that. Still having a lot of fun with that, um, as well as still playing Kunitsugami. It's been a little bit because I've been trying to focus on finishing up Super Robot Wars T. But when I feel like I've got the time or I want to take a break, I have been going back to Kunitsugami. Uh, as well as back and forth between Ace Combat 7 and Super Robot Wars X. My goal is eventually to have all of the Super Robot Wars um, platinumed. So I'm looking forward to that. And then, of course, now we are in August. So we've got some upcoming games, which are definitely going to be big for some of us. I know Black Myth Wukong is looking like the heavy favorite next to Star Wars Outlaws. So those are the two really big ones this month.
And Vision of Mana. All three is gonna be big.
I mean, I don't know about that. We'll see. uh, I mean, people are liking it. I just don't. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near number wise. I think it's going to be pretty niche but I'd be surprised. So we'll see if them putting it on Xbox really just bumps the numbers there.
I don't
As
think
they
so.
tell
It's
us.
the demo that's gonna do it justice.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have played it and they seem to like it. Speaking of demo, did you play the demo?
Nope, I've been way too busy with what you call it,
Oh man,
Remnant.
Omar avoiding a
I haven't
demo.
touched a lot of demos. PlayStation put out a demo for Rise. I haven't touched that. Like I told you, when I play these games, I get addicted. Especially with you gotta focus on your build. Like also, Vitamin D crew want to play with me with this, so I gotta make sure my character is ready to
For
play with
Remnant 2?
them. Hmm?
For Remnant 2?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Coffee, Coffee playing it, Zero playing it. They want me
I'm
to join with
surprised he
them.
hasn't platinum the game already. I thought he did by
Uh,
now. He has like 800 hours in that game.
who?
Kofi.
Coffee, he's broken.
Oh
He
no.
found a way to break his character. Like, oh
Yeah, he's out of control. But yeah,
yeah,
obviously, like I said, it's just kind of in between for a lot of us. Most of us are finishing up a lot of the games we're already working on or stuff in our backlog. But yeah, I still haven't found the time to go back to Unicorn Overlord, even though I really enjoyed that game a lot. It's just finishing up one thing at a time so you can get it off the board, remove it from your PlayStation, and then just kind of process of elimination. And it looks like that's where we're all at right now. But obviously, when some of the bigger games come out, I'm just gonna jump straight to those and let them cut the line. Um, which brings up an interesting point. Somebody was saying the other day that that we it was fine, for certain games to be delayed because we don't have enough time to play them. And I was like, that's not really how it works when you have a day one game. I was like, your backlog doesn't dictate whether or not you're going to play the game that you want to play day one. So I was like, yeah, that's not really the case. But that was an interesting point that someone had brought up, and I was just like, yeah, no, I don't need them to help me by removing a game from my potential purchasing. I was like, I can do that by myself. But
yeah. Like,
you know,
are you not capable of deciding for yourself what you're gonna play, what you're not gonna play?
yeah, I definitely don't need the help, but they always try. But yeah, on to some of the news from this week. Uh, into our first topic. This is one from actually last week, and I wanted to go into this one first for a reason, and you'll see why. But some news with Helldivers 2. Still, honestly, I think it was number one on the charts, either for NPD or the European charts, which is crazy. Helldivers 2 is still obviously doing very well, even seems to be picking up some steam. Um, but, you know, prior to the recent announcements, their concurrent count on Steam was under 10,000 players. But they did make a lot of new announcements, some updates coming. They've already started pushing some of those out. Um, and I mean, ultimately, I mean, most of us have played the game at this point. So the question is really comes down to with live service games is can you continue the momentum you started with, especially when you've had the success that Helldivers 2 has been able to, going on to sell over 12, if not 15 million now, I believe, which is incredible. That team is enjoying a lot of success to the point where um, the head of the studio, they got an actual business level CEO to take over so that they could focus on the development of the game. Because once you garner that level of success, you need someone in that business level position that focuses on that 100%. Um, but if not, I mean, the question really for everyone is after these announcements have been made, all the promises of some of the new tech, some of the new enemies, for you, is it enough to pull you back in order to want to play more of this game? Because that's really, the goal with live service games, to continue to create content that draws you in, that keeps you coming back to it, and see where it goes from there. Weeb, did you play Helldivers 2? I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I
He
think
did.
Weeb was the
Nope.
only one. Okay, so that won't really answer it for you, and as far as coming back to it, but does anything that they've said entice you to want to play it, or you're still like, no, I'm good?
I'm good.
No, I get that. Morgan, so you've seen some of the announcements, some of the things they have up and coming. Is it enough, or do you need to see more?
I mean, I may jump back in, but I mean, the real issue is just have too much to play right now. So
Hmm?
even if they had something enticing, I don't even know if I'd have time, because the thing about live service games is they take time. So it's just like,
Absolutely.
even if I don't think it, like, I can't say that it'd be the game's fault if I didn't want to jump in. Like, it's just my schedule is just busy. Like, I just wouldn't have time. You have to schedule it with friends. You gotta, find the time to do it. Like,
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
just a lot,
each of those
takes time.
missions do take like 35 to 45 minutes, to
Yeah,
complete them thoroughly. So, yeah, that's
Hmm.
yeah.
understandable. Okay, no, that's fair. I'm kind of in the same boat. Uh, what I've seen personally hasn't enticed me yet. I know they came out with a new war bond, and stuff like that. I need to see more of the updates actually get executed, see what they're actually adding to the game, especially from the player perspective. Um, you know, adding a harder difficulty of a difficulty I've only completed like once before, that's not really enticing. You already get basically, 2 to 3 shot most of the time on this game, so I'm not really sure what a harder difficulty even looks like. Um, so yeah, that's definitely not one for me. So I am interested to see what they're gonna do with some of the other updates that they haven't really fully realized yet, or fully ready to talk about. So for me, it's not enough. In like Morgan was saying, in wake of all these other games that we have to play. That's the thing with live service. It's like you're constantly competing with uh, what we have available to play now. That's really the big thing, the bigger issue. Um, Fresh says that he'll probably hop back in. That they need a new faction. So apparently they are making one of the updates is a new enemy faction. Um, so apparently that's something they're working on as well. So they will, but like I was saying, like they haven't put it out yet. So it's like in combination with once all these updates are out, it's like I guess that'll be when I really see if I want to push back in and really start playing the game again. But again, like I said, that game in particular takes a lot of time. Usually when we did play it, it was like we pretty much played it and then like shut it down for the night after we were done, because if you're talking about running 2 or 3 missions, if not 4, you're talking about a significant amount of your night, if not your entire night playing that game. So understandable. Omar, I mean, you played it enough to get the platinum. Are
Yeah.
you enticed enough to go back based on the updates they're promising? Are you looking forward to it?
Here's the thing. Why? Like I clearly I loved it because I got the plot. But if you put it next to Black Myth Wukong, if you put it next to a Star Wars Outlaw, if you put it next to even Vision of Mana, like it's no brainer. Why would I waste my time playing Helldiver 2 again? Like been there, done that. All I know is they're nerfing weapons and they're nerfing shit. Yes, they're adding some stuff, but they don't want you to have fun. Well, since you don't want me to have fun, I'm not gonna have fun. It's basically that simple. One, it takes too many time for just one run, like 40, 30 minutes, especially if you're doing on more than hard difficulty. Not to
Yeah.
mention, and the egregious part, if something happened to your run and you get kicked out or some some of your shit dies, like rip,
No, I agree.
like it happened to us, like we that's why to me this is a no-brainer. That's a no. That's a no and then some. If you're gonna enjoy it, good on you. As for me, I got my plot, I enjoyed it, and time to move on to greener areas. Because with this one, I don't think they capable of putting anything that would grab me to go back, especially with the amount of games that getting released every month.
Okay. No, so I mean, it brings up a good point. That's why I asked everybody what they thought. Uh, the one thing that people forget, and this is something that I always bring up with live service games, is that live service games, with their updates, their content updates, content pushes, they have to constantly realize that they're competing not only with other live service games, but also the single player games and other new multiplayer games that are getting released, that are giving people, a much fresher feeling, a brand new game to play. And it's like, if you're not offering a significant or substantial enough update, you're not going to pull a lot of people back in. Like I said, right now, I don't have any plans. It seems like none of the rest of us want to jump back in right now either, despite us all enjoying the game. So it's not, a matter of not enjoying the game
Yeah, it's
because
not
we
that
did.
the game is bad or anything. No, the game is
Exactly.
great. It's just you don't have time, and it's like it's its time is done. We've been there, done that. Time to move on. That's it.
Absolutely. So speaking of Helldivers 2, while we're on this topic, um, we had another podcast at some point allude to
Don't ruin my moment, Tony. Please
go
don't.
for it. Go for it. It's on
Nah,
you.
nah. Because what's today's Omar? I have to ask, what is today's date?
Saturday.
No, the
No, the
date.
date.
Oh, date. Let me check. 3 August.
Okay. So what does that mean in terms of what didn't happen in July? The way he's just quiet.
Oh, now you're stuck. Okay, now I
Oh,
understood the thing.
okay.
I didn't say that's gonna
No,
happen.
no, 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 no.
I said it's
Yes,
a
you
fucking.
did.
I
You doubled
specifically
down
said.
on it, Omar.
I specifically
Absolutely
said it's
did.
a rumor.
And I said, there's no fucking way it's gonna happen. And what did you say, Omar?
I
You don't know
didn't.
that. You don't
Yeah,
know. It's gonna
I
happen.
mean, I
La, la, la.
am.
We will see. We will see. And I said,
Yeah, I
Omar, that is the
literally said.
dumbest. Omar, that's like believing. That's like saying, well, the world's gonna end in July, and me being like, no, it's not. And you could be like, oh, well, we'll see. Like, we can all just say we'll see about any damn thing.
I
There was no proof. There was no ounce of justification as to why you should have even given that rumor
because
any
I
kind
I
of like there should have been no reason why you believed that shit, Omar. Why?
I
Why?
because now after I
Uh-huh.
I
Uh-huh.
I I truly never believed PlayStation would go on PC.
Okay,
And
ladies and
because
gentlemen, let me
let
paint
me
the picture.
explain,
No,
let
no, no,
me
no.
explain
Shh,
though.
shh.
But
We're
let
done
me,
listening to your lies, Omar.
you asked
No,
me a
no.
question
I'm
though.
going to set it up for the people because they don't know what we're talking about right now. Okay? For
Okay.
all the people who don't understand, okay, Omar decided upon himself once again to believe the rumor
I
slash
didn't
made up lies. No, shh, yes, you did. Yes, you did. That Helldivers 2 was like he believed Helldivers 2 was
uh,
coming to Xbox and more specifically Game Pass in the month of July. That was the rumor that was out there made by a certain Xbox content creator, one on the very extreme side. And for whatever reason, Omar took it upon himself to believe that that was going to be the case, even though everyone in the chat told him that wasn't possible. He decided, we don't know what we're talking about. It could happen, and we will see once the month of July ended. And Omar, you are going to eat this motherfucking L right now. Okay?
Wait, hold up. One
Go
second.
ahead,
Did
Omar. Go
I
ahead. Let me
did
hear
did did
for this.
I
Go ahead.
did I say it's gonna happen, or did I leave
Omar,
room for it to
I gave
happen?
you every reason why that wasn't possible, and
I told and I told you. Yeah, I
said,
said
well,
anything. I said
we don't know.
yeah. I
Omar,
specifically said anything
that's
is
like you
possible.
saying God of War is going to come to Xbox, and I'm saying no, it's don't. You could be like, well, I mean, we don't know. Like, I can say we don't know about anything. You
No,
didn't
it's
have.
not.
There was nothing
No,
to
it's
back that
not.
statement up.
It's not that. Look, we don't know how the deals that are happening. When have we ever had? If you like what a year ago, if I told you PlayStation is gonna put one of their biggest IP on Nintendo, would you have believed me?
Omar,
No,
no. You're not about to do this because this is not the point. The point is
no, but
the
that's why I'm
source of
saying.
this rumor, Omar. This man
Things,
lies. All
I
he
am
does
literally telling you, things
ain't it,
change.
Omar. If it'd be totally different if this was maybe from a Tom Warren or Jeff Keighley, any of the actual people who maybe have some
Actual
know
sources.
in the industry, but you believed a man who, mind you, this same person, right? They said about I think it was like 3 days or a week prior to the Xbox showcase, that he heard from his sources that the new Doom wasn't coming to PlayStation. It was going to be an Xbox and
I
PC exclusive.
I have
And
no.
then what happened? It was a freaking multi-plat. And
Okay, so
you believed,
I
no,
have no
no.
idea who the person is.
So you didn't know who that person is, and you just believed what they said.
No, I didn't believe him. I had a conversation with the Vitamin G crew, and
So the
You
one
the
dude.
person.
vitamin
But let me speak.
Omar, that's not any better.
One, let me
That's your first
speak.
mistake.
Go
Fuck
ahead,
you
Omar.
guys.
No,
One
no,
person,
no, no. Fuck you,
one,
Omar, because that was dumb on your part. But go ahead.
one person specifically have been
Uh-huh.
not only right, but have called out multiple things that are actually happened.
Were they
That's why.
right, or they're just a good guesser?
No. He points things out that specifically happened, like, and he knew
Hmm.
beforehand. That's why I said we will see. I didn't
Knew
say
before.
it's going
What
to.
did he say that was right before, Omar?
Mm, I let me
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah.
No, no,
Let me let
cause
you remember.
no, I didn't like what you call it. He knew about Blade before.
Blade.
Yeah, before everyone else was talking about it. Like he was the first one to talk about it in our group.
And what exactly did he say about Blade?
Blades, that's gonna be on the show by Bethesda. Like he
That
was
Blade was
one of
going to
the
be on the
first.
show by Bethesda.
He knew,
Yeah,
but you're saying someone told you that before Jeff Grubb and the rest of them revealed anything.
yes, that's what I'm
You sure
telling
about
you.
that?
Yes,
You sure it was before them or was it after
yeah,
them?
I'm pretty sure before them because I saw it from them, and then I saw it from
But
other
see, but the thing
people.
is though, you
Yeah,
always see news late a lot of the time,
Yeah.
Omar. So
of
could it
course.
be that you just didn't see that they had already said that before, and then you assumed he was the first one to say it?
No, because again, he called multiple things out that
Okay,
were
well,
correct. But
you said
again,
multiple, but you've only given
I
one.
But okay,
didn't.
but regardless, fuck all that other
Yeah,
nonsense.
but
That has
regardless,
nothing
is
to
it
do with
wrong?
you believing someone who
Is it?
lies 5 days a week about something. That's what we're getting on your ass
I
about
have
right
no
now.
idea who the person is that shared it. I'm being
Oh,
genuine.
we've
I
shared
have
this
no.
person multiple times in the chat. So if you don't know about us talking about this person lying constantly 5 days a week specifically, then
I
I don't know
share
what to tell
everything
you.
news related, but I have no idea who the person is.
And
Why
this is
you
what
guys not naming
we
his name?
dragged this person. I'm not naming this person on this podcast.
Okay,
You
okay,
can find out later because
okay. I'm gonna look up
the
later.
video was in chat, and we literally clown this person weekly for lying
Okay.
and misinformation. And you were like, "Hey, like I mean, it could happen." Like we're like, "No."
I I
Oh
sta-
my god.
I started believing everything. Not to
Oh,
say believing, but like
Omar, and that's
giving
what
them.
I've been telling you because
No,
you have this susceptibility about you where you, especially when it's news that's negative towards PlayStation, you
Mm-hmm.
have a tendency to believe more negative news than you do positive. I've
that's
noticed that about you. Like it's like if the sky is falling on PlayStation, those type of rumors, you're more likely to gravitate towards those. I think it's because you don't like the direction that PlayStation's going, so that's the way your mind goes. You're like, oh, that's believable. Oh, they're doing that. Oh, that's bad. That's believable. Oh, they're gonna do this now. Oh, yeah, that's bad. That's believable. I think that's how your mind works now. And so you heard this rumor of Helldivers 2 possibly going to Xbox and Game Pass, and you just automatically, oh yeah, that's it right there. That's the negative. Yes, PlayStation, they keep doing wrong, so that's what they're gonna do next. They're gonna give Helldivers 2 to Xbox, and you got to stop that, bro, because you do that a lot. You got to
him.
stop
I am
believing
only
every which
leaving
thing that
the
comes
door
out,
open.
especially when you're surrounded by people who tell you that this is misinformation, but you choose to believe it anyway. You got to stop that, Omar.
I
Okay, because
am
then I'm
trying.
gonna be consistently handing out L's like cookies to you,
Like
and you're gonna be
cookies.
scratching your head talking about, no, I didn't say I believed it. Well, you didn't say you didn't believe it either, Omar. You can't be
Yeah,
sitting on the fence like that.
I left the room door open for it to be true. My thing,
Yeah,
my
you
thing,
can't sit on the
my
fence and be like, well, well,
my thing,
that's
my
that bot stuff. That when they put out rumors and they be like, well, I mean, I didn't say it was true. I just said it was a rumor because they don't want to catch the L. No, you can't. No, you're not gonna do that bot thing, Omar. You believed it and you doubled down. When everybody in the chat was like, no, Omar, you kept saying, well, they did this and they did that, so it's possible. La, la, la. You kept
yeah, I said
fighting
it's
it.
a possibility. Is it wrong? Again,
Anything's a possibility, Omar,
yeah, I
but
left to say
the
it after.
probability of that happening was so low it didn't even
Yeah,
make
it's so
sense.
low. Yeah, precisely. It's low, but it's not zero, and that's what I was talking about.
And it was
Omar, we can
And
say that
that's
about
absolutely
why,
anything.
zero.
again,
We
why
can
is it
say
so?
that, Omar, we can literally say that about anything. Like, well, the probability of that
And
happening
that's
is
why I say.
zero.
But get this. That's what all the point that I was trying to make.
Oh
We
my,
don't
no, it was
know.
not. No, it was not. You
Did you
believed that it was
say?
highly
Did you?
likely. You did not think it was a low possibility, Omar.
I said it's possible.
You thought over 50% that it was highly. Don't lie. Do not
I
lie.
said it's possible. That's what I said. I said we don't know
Omar,
what
you
PlayStation is
thought that
doing.
it was highly likely to happen. I think I said it wasn't going to happen. You
Yeah,
thought it
you
was
said it wasn't
highly
gonna happen.
likely. Don't say it was low likely because that's not what you believed. You believed it was
Yeah,
highly
he
likely to
definitely did
happen.
not say that.
Yeah,
He
you didn't
was
say, well,
yeah.
you weren't portraying it as if it was a 2% chance. You were portraying it as if it was a 70+% chance on happening.
Wait, hold up. Did I say
No,
that?
Omar, that's how hard I'm fighting for it. When I said that it makes zero sense, you said
Yeah,
no,
you
but they
said
did this. So it's going
you
no,
because
this is gonna happen. We'll see, Morgan. We'll see. There's still half the month left. We'll see. I'm like, all right, Omar. Okay, we'll see. I say, you gonna catch the L? You said, okay, that's fine. Just watch. I was like, okay, you're right, Omar. And then I let the days go by. I didn't say nothing. I just said, oh, look, we're getting
So
close to the end of the July. End of July's happening. Oh,
so for the
and
people
then
that just arrived in the chat, he's getting the smoke because he believed that an Xbox podcaster who is a known liar and misinformation giver stated that a PlayStation exclusive was going to come at the end of July, specifically like July 31st, and it was not only going to come to Xbox, but it was also going to come to Game Pass, and it was going to break the internet.
Yeah.
Obviously, the way he was hinting at it
that is
was held out as
why,
2.
you know, I'm kicking Omar's legs in now, because if I don't do this, he's going to do this again. He's going to believe the next rumor he hears, some negative news about PlayStation, and then I'm going to say, Omar, that's not happening, and he's going to say, you don't know, we will
But hold up,
see,
why
and then
do
I'll have to kick his legs in
on
again.
PlayStation when I share news about Xbox as well, and Nintendo in
What are you
general?
talking about? What was the
Like
question?
you said, I am more inclined to believe bad news about
Yeah,
PlayStation when I do the
that's
same
Yes.
because
for Xbox
okay,
and
I'm gonna
PC.
explain. I'm gonna explain.
Go ahead.
You don't. So the one thing you are really blind to is what we call disposition, right? This is what we're talking about, is your disposition when you share certain things, and the way that the level at which you believe these things to be true. So when something comes out and it's like they say they laid off some people or something, right? And it's like, the team that this it could be like the team was done, this, that, and the third. So everybody who was on the team was like, oh, like you immediately, if it's PlayStation related, you're just like, I can't believe this. Like, oh my god, absolutely unacceptable. Like, you will just like go crazy over it. But when the other stuff happens, you're just like, oh well, well, that's par for the course. That makes sense. It's just kind of the intensity at which you are likely to believe, or the level at which you believe, the level of negative news towards PlayStation is way higher. Whether you
So the
intend to do
thing
it,
is, I don't give PlayStation the benefit of the doubt.
no, it's just an
No, I just
immediate
think, like
dragon.
I said before, because you have a negative perception about PlayStation and the direction that they're going, you have a tendency to believe and, get more emotional towards news that's
Mhm.
negative about PlayStation. Like, you react so quickly, and then sometimes we're like, Omar, did you actually read the article? And you're like, oh, okay, that's what that meant. And I'd be like, yes, because
Yeah,
you get
I
so
do fall for
emotional
the
and you refuse to
I
do
do
like
fall for the hard
research.
for the headline. That is true.
Yeah,
I'm so fucking angry
especially
about.
if you perceive it as a negative of something PlayStation related, it's immediate. Like, you'll post, oh my god, guys, look at this. Look, this is horrible. What did PlayStation do? And I'm like, Omar, read it. And you'll just be like, oh, okay. Oh, that's what that meant.
I hate clickbait so much, but yeah,
Yes, because it works
I
on people like you who won't read, Omar. You refuse to
I
read.
hate it so much, but
It's true though.
that's true. That's
You
true.
But
That
again, this at the end of the day, this is just me handing Omar 75th L that he's collected in
the
this
75th.
podcast. He's putting it beside his book, like I said, on his shelves of all the L's that he's collected. This is just another one for him. It's like,
get up your eye on.
he he's like, he's out here with
Oh,
it like a top actor with some Oscars. Like, he's just collecting them all out here. Okay, I'm sure next week, he'll be collecting another one based on some other rumor that he heard that he just straight up believes.
Omar is collecting his L's as we are collecting our trophies.
Yes. We got plats. Omar's got L's. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like, I swear you go out of your way to find L's, Omar. Because I'm just like, there's no way he's gonna believe this, and then you prove me wrong every time. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, I mean, Wara, it's probably more, but we're just gonna call it the 75th
Yeah.
L. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I see.
Mhm.
As
Mhm.
always, protecting your bestie. I see.
Because it would make sense for PlayStation to put one of their fastest selling and best selling game of 2024 onto their competitor's platform, because that makes business sense, right?
Yeah, the same way it did.
Yeah.
The same way it did with Horizon on Nintendo, of
Uh,
course.
You mean
yes,
Lego
because yes,
Horizon?
yeah, Lego Horizon,
Yeah,
yeah,
Lego
because
Horizon.
a
Yeah,
spin-off IP, yeah.
still the PlayStation
And
IP. Yes, it makes
yeah, it's
sense.
multiplayer. But
Okay. Show
no,
me.
Omar. What platform isn't that game going on?
It's not
No.
an
No. Answer
Xbox.
the question.
It's
What
not an
platform?
Xbox.
Oh, crazy. Okay, so it's not coming to their competition.
Wait, hold
But
up.
their
Hold
best-selling
up.
game of the year would.
When
Interesting.
is Nintendo not competition to
Since
PlayStation?
when has PlayStation or Xbox seen Nintendo as competition, Omar?
They have.
Omar, be so serious. We don't even frame Nintendo as competition. Exactly. The pause.
Clearly.
You knew exactly what I'm talking. Exactly, Omar.
Okay, so
Everybody sees Nintendo as a
why is
companion console.
PlayStation?
Nobody sees it as competition between PlayStation and
Oh
Xbox. Be
wow.
serious.
Okay,
Be
so
serious.
Astral Chain is gonna go into PlayStation
What does that have to do with what I just said?
because this is an IP that Nintendo owns and PlayStation owns Horizon. Trade.
Yeah, that's not.
You don't see a trade.
That's not the same thing.
That has nothing to do with what I just said.
You say Microsoft. I'm sorry to Microsoft. Nintendo literally paid. I forgot the amount. Like
Nintendo having exclusives doesn't negate what I said.
No, it didn't pay the exclusive. It took it off plate. It prevented going to
Wait.
So that
Wait,
is
that-
what an
wait.
exclusive.
Wait, they did not prevent it. It was never in development for PlayStation. They paid for that game wholesale. They paid for that game wholesale.
Oh man, is this another L for Omar? Did he believe another rumor that he heard? Oh snap! 2 and 1, Omar. 2 and 1.
Yeah.
Man, he's trying to collect
them. Completely funded that game.
Pokemon.
Yeah. So no, that's not the same thing. It was a nice try, though, Omar. It was a nice try.
Omar tried to come at me with an argument. It was wrong.
Omar, you keep conflating things. That's your issue.
No, Nintendo literally paid 2
Yes.
billion yen to what you call it, like
to develop.
Sorry.
To develop, to publish. What are you trying to say?
To get it close to 9 months exclusivity.
They don't. There's
9
no
months.
There's no partial exclusivity though. They paid to have the game developed and have it completely exclusive, the same way they did.
If they paid to have the game developed, then what's wrong with them having exclusive? That's the same thing.
The game came out
with Stellar Blade
5 years ago.
Also, it's not a rumor. It's literally on the website.
What is on the website, Omar? What is on the website? What does the website say?
NintendoLive.com.
What?
Yeah.
What is?
Oh,
what
Nintendo paid around $6 million for not dollar, $6 million for Monster Hunter Rise timed exclusivity.
We weren't talking about Monster Hunter.
You said Astral Chain.
I was.
Bro,
So how did you change the game? We were talking about Astral Chain. How you gonna switch it up to Monster Hunter?
Oh no, you guys said
you said Astral Chain.
No, look, you guys said
goalpost, dude, goalpost.
Oh my god, he's botting right now. What the hell?
Wait,
go ahead, Omar.
Am I botting?
No, I mean as you are acting like a bot.
Oh, fuck
mentally.
You guys said that when have PlayStation and Xbox ever seen Nintendo as competition?
Okay.
And I'm proving a point that Nintendo.
So you switch games mid conversation. That's wild.
Xbox, they don't care. Yes, Xbox don't care, but PlayStation, they do care. Which is why, for the first time ever, you see now Horizon on Nintendo. Even if
so because they see them as competition for the first time ever, they released the game on their
platform. First time ever.
Oh wow. Okay, so because they see them as competition, they release games on their competitors' console.
I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
That don't make sense.
You might want to quit while you're ahead. Just quit while you're ahead.
I'm gonna die on it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have died on many hits. We know you'll die on it.
PlayStation is in it for the win.
Bro, you over here
okay.
Cuckoo. Like, just let it go.
Okay, they're in it for the win. Is that a bad thing or?
No, it's not a bad thing. It's competition.
Okay. I don't. You just left your whole point. Okay. All right. Well, Omar and ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have to deal with, and this
I
is just an
I
ounce of what we have to deal with in the group chat,
I
guys. Like, just
hate
think about dealing with this for 24/7. Okay, this is this is Omar. We have to put out many of fires in the chat, because if we didn't, this man would probably run off and
glad this
destroy the world.
podcast is only once a week.
hey I hate you. Hey, we all know for sure. If I was wearing an Otter costume, you would have been so nice
Yo,
to me.
if we had never met
Because
this man, this man would be on the
I'm against.
extremist side of the community, man. Believe in
No,
everything.
I'm not extreme. I just took the
Oh yeah, you're
biggest.
not now. Thank God.
No, I genuine wasn't like that. I took the
Mm.
biggest L when I believed the PlayStation wouldn't put their games on PC.
Oh, I
And
know
that's
you,
the
you.
L.
I know that still haunts you. I know.
Yeah, that's not PC, huh? Not PC, huh?
Oh, it definitely haunts you, sir. You mentioned
No,
that at least once a week.
it just taught me to never say never. That's it.
but
That's
but
literally
I
it.
agree with that sentiment, Omar, but you also have to use, your brain, and use good judgment and based on facts. Okay, you can't just take the word of randoms and just because it seems like something based on your negative perception of PlayStation, it seems like that would make sense. That's the way you're using emotion. That's why you believed it, because you don't like the direction PlayStation's going. That's why I say you are more likely to believe negative PlayStation news.
No,
Yes,
that's not it. Because I
yes, it is.
genuinely don't know what's possible now. I'm being legit. Like, this is no bullshit. I genuinely have no idea. Like, I would not be surprised if I wake up, I sleep, I wake up, and exclusivity is all gone. Like,
See, that's my point. That right there, that you just reworded what I said.
yeah,
It's
that's the
because
same shit Jack and the rest of them been on since PlayStation's direction changed, and he's the same way. He doesn't like PlayStation's current direction, and therefore everything seems like the sky is falling, as we were saying. But
mhm.
it's like the
no, this is
reality is their direction is solid. They've been doing the same thing they've been doing for a while, and it stayed. And even when you thought PlayStation would never do the PC thing, we had a conversation at one point where I told you it's a possible, but it wouldn't be day and date, and that was the stipulation that I was saying before they even announced it. But the reason that Jack and them wouldn't have, because they don't really play PC like that, and I told you that was a possibility. And then I also stated before PlayStation made the announcement about their gas games going day and date, I said PlayStation will most likely put those games day and date because it's a logical reasoning that a gas game needs as many people playing it as humanly possible without you sacrificing your game to the competition, which is directly Xbox, which is exactly what they did. That's the way you do a logical guess or logical
the
reasoning.
the comment of me saying we're living in an era that's exclusiveless. I have been saying that before PlayStation went to PC. Like, go back all the way to
Well, if that's the
what
case, Omar, it shouldn't have hurt. It shouldn't have surprised you that much when they did it.
I genuinely was surprised that they did it.
Omar, you stay
Because
contradicting yourself.
because I kept hearing PlayStation is not gonna follow Xbox, PlayStation is not gonna follow Xbox.
And have
Why
they?
do they follow? Sorry,
Have
Would you
they?
say that the PlayStation's PC method and Xboxes are the same?
no, but
Okay,
they,
so
but
what is this
they,
following
no, no,
Xbox?
no, no. The conversation was putting their games on PC, not the conversation of day and date. Just them putting their games on PC. Nobody believed that. I
But
said
that's
maybe
not following
it's gonna
Xbox.
happen.
But okay,
It's not
sure.
how is it not? Why so wishy-washy means it's not. I get you on that end, but the whole concept as a whole, it is. Because again, they're exclusive on HMPT. A year later, but it's still doing
More
so.
than a year
Sure,
later.
but the majority of PlayStation games are still vastly exclusive. Like they have
Yeah,
only I think what 8 or 9 games on PC out of the 100+ library PlayStation has. It's not people try to conflate it like it's the way Xbox does, where it's like 99% of their games are on PC. and it's like 1% of PlayStation games are on PC.
This generation is just being very different from PlayStation 4 generation.
Sure,
It's that
yeah,
simple.
sure. I mean, in terms of PC, sure.
No,
Yeah.
just PlayStation as a whole. But yeah, let's move
No,
on.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
We'll see.
And
We'll see.
what else do you think is different?
I mean, we talked about it, Magnum, being upfront with the gamers about the roadmap, their movement, everything.
So just the roadmap. That's it.
Not roadmap, like roadmap, gameplay breakdown, all the stuff.
So
Like
roadmap.
they've
Okay.
been so silent. No, it's not just roadmap. It's not showcasing their game before,
That's a
unless
roadmap. That you're
no,
just
no,
rewording roadmap.
no. Roadmap is different. I'm talking.
A game showcase is a roadmap. What?
I'm not.
Omar?
I'm not. No, I'm not. Roadmap is something like you can have your roadmap, but if you're quiet about your games, and then literally a month or two before release, you start showing it, that's different. Like the roadmap, I get you, yes, but also doing more showcases. We have not had showcase in so much in a
Omar,
lot.
a showcase is the roadmap. Why are you saying it
No,
like it's two different things?
no.
He's
It,
trying to.
What is the what is it?
He's trying to say
we,
that the road they can have a roadmap without showcasing the games. He's saying what they would do is not only have the roadmap but showcase the gameplay. You know, the way that they did Horizon when they first showed it. Constantly communicating what they've been working on, not only giving us the roadmap but showing it, and then
yeah,
giving us those release times. So he's
But
using those as two
okay,
different
but
things.
how would you release a roadmap without a showcase? Is my point.
you would already be done with the roadmap. That's what I'm saying. Like,
No, but in order to get a roadmap, that's people when people say I want a roadmap, that means they want the showcase that gives them the games and the dates. That's what the roadmap is. That's
yes,
why I'm like,
but
you trying to separate showcase from roadmap when they're literally the same thing.
Yeah,
That's what
you
people
get
say
you
when
get
they say
the
they
you
want a
get it.
roadmap,
okay,
is they
Yeah.
want a showcase.
okay. So then I'm gonna add a roadmap and deep dive. Better?
A showcase is the deep dive. You know what? Okay,
Oh,
Omar. All this is the same thing. It's all the same thing. You basically want E3 2018 or 2016, right? That's what you want.
I mean, I want that. So
Yes.
yes.
Yes, that's what you want. That's the roadmap. That's the showcase. That's the deep dive. It's all there in E3 2016. That's what I'm saying. All these words you're using are just synonyms for one another. You basically are upset that that PlayStation isn't giving you the showcase and showing you the roadmap of the games that are
yeah.
coming.
We don't.
Okay, that's what I said. Okay, so that's all the same. That's what it is. It's all one thing. You want a showcase. That's what this is about. A first party showcase.
First party showcase, third party showcase, everything. I want it all.
Okay, that was my
No,
point. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why you keep breaking it down like it's
no,
multiple things. It's one thing.
because but that's what I'm trying to explain. It's not just I want a first part showcase and that's it. I want to keep showing things. That's why I'm saying it's different. Maybe you're seeing it different than me.
You felt like they
But
communicated a lot more in the prior generation, and they do it
yeah,
Yeah, I
significantly
get
less
that.
this
I
generation.
absolutely get that.
Yeah, the lack of
And I mean,
communication.
but if that's your only negative, that's not doesn't really seem like a big one to me.
oh,
But
the biggest is the live service game.
is the live service game impeding you in any way?
Sorry?
But is the live service games impeding you in any way? Like, is Concord like bothering you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I
Do
respect that. I respect
you
that.
have any idea how fucking ridiculous it is for him and us to come out and say that Concord is something important to him or something like that?
Sure, but that
Well,
doesn't that doesn't
this
affect
is
me.
the dude that
I don't
says,
understand how that affects you. What Herman says on Concord. Like, is
because
that gonna stop
oh,
Astrobot
yeah.
from coming out, Lego from coming out, Death Stranding 2 from coming out, Wolverine from coming out, Ghost of Tsushima 2 from coming out, Corey's game from coming out, Ben Studios game? Like, what he said has no effect on any of that.
What is their biggest IP right now that's coming on Concord?
Is that their biggest IP?
Yeah, because that's what they're doing. They're literally showcasing it to the point that, and I'm not
I mean,
talking.
they have to market it. It's a game they
Yeah,
made,
that's what
so
I'm saying. But when you go out, like we're gonna see what Concord is gonna do. I'm actually on the belief.
sure. But I'm saying if it fails, though, it's not going to impede on the other games that they have coming out.
We know they were making what 10, 12 live servers, and they scaled back.
Yeah.
But basically, what does making live service means for the studio? They're
What,
not gonna
Firewalk?
work on single players then.
What? Okay, this is where I knew it was going. That's why I kept pushing. You think them making live service means that they're not going to make single player games anymore, Omar?
No, I said the studio that's working on multiplayer on a game of the live service is not going to be working as a single player. That's what I said.
Okay. So
So
their new Firewalk is a new. It's not like Firewalk was making Infamous before they started making Concord. That was their first game. What? That's what I'm saying. What
Yeah,
does
they were
this
purchased to make
studio
that.
doing have to do with the rest of the PlayStation studios and what they're making? Like, that's why I'm trying to figure out why you're upset that they're making the game that they were always making.
we know because the other place we know just from the leak alone that
Mhm.
even Insomniac was making game of the live service with
Okay. But then it was
Spider-Man,
canned, and
and
we
it
know
was
they're making
canceled.
Wolverine
And we
and
know
Spider-Man 2 DLC. So
that it was a rumor that Twisted Metal game got cancelled as well. It was supposed to
Omar,
be
none of
like
this has anything to do with what I said. Like, you're just saying stuff now. Like,
no, how?
what does that have to do? Like I'm saying, what does that have to do with the other studios making single player games? What does what Firewalk is doing have to do with Insomniac?
What we don't know what Santa Monica is working on.
We
We,
know Corey's making his game. Yes, we do.
we know Cody is making a new game. We have no idea what it is.
Okay.
We know what can we call it? Faction 2 got cancelled.
Yeah.
So that one of the biggest hits with
Mhm.
this generation for PlayStation.
Okay.
We have no idea what Sucker Punch is working on.
Yes, we do. What? We know they're making Ghosts too. What do you mean we have no idea?
That's a rumor. We don't know.
Oh
No,
my god.
it's confirmed, Omar.
Okay.
There
You
was
are insane if you don't think they're making Ghosts too.
I mean, it depends on their what
You just want them to make Infamous. That's your problem.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was.
Yeah, that's why you're doing that, because you're like, well,
yeah.
you try to open up that. You think you Omar?
I
I
am
swear.
open.
You and your high
Yeah.
hopes. No.
Until I see that.
Ghost was one of the biggest hits of 2020. Okay, game of the year nominated. They are making Ghost 2, sir. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. So, but other studios,
Yeah.
unknown. Sony Band,
Yeah.
we don't know what they're making.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know they're making something.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we know
Like,
that.
Naughty Dog confirmed they're making 3 single player games. I was like, oh hell yeah! Like, they got 3 new IPs that they're working on.
3?
We know. Yes, yes. Neil Druckmann came out and said that. Yes, they have 3 new single player IPs that they have.
Interesting how
Yes.
they're
Yeah.
gonna come out.
Oh man, yeah, they're gonna do it like they always do by making them.
I mean, there's multiple teams. That's one of their biggest
Yeah.
teams. So
Yeah, but how big is
Yeah,
that?
we know Insomniac's got Wolverine. We know Insomniac's got the Spider-Man 2 DLC. We know Ben's already
We
announced
know
that they're working on
Insomniac
a game.
also
We
working.
know Sucker Punch is making their game. We know Corey for Santa Monica is making their game. Like, yes, we don't know the specifics, but we know these teams are working, and we are well aware that they're deep into these games now. I agree that Sony has been quiet, and this showcase that everybody's talking about in September, God knows if that is even real or not, that it needs to be a reality, and they need
Wait,
to.
there's another rumor for a showcase? I had
It's
no
the
idea.
This
September
rumor,
one. It's the same one.
this rumor's been around. It's been around, the
Uh,
whole September showcase thing. It's been. God knows if that's even happening, but I'm saying it needs to happen. Like, they need to have this showcase, and they need to announce their first party future. I agree with you on that they've been quiet, and it needs to come out. But honestly, I think these first, what has it been, 4 years, 3.5 years of PS5 have been better than the first 3.5 years of PS4. And I think that's what everybody, like I said last week, everybody's focusing on the last few years of PlayStation 4 and comparing it to the first few years of PlayStation 5 and being like, oh, they don't have banger after banger after banger like they did the last few years. But like I said, everybody romanticizes PS4 and just focuses on those last 3 years, but nobody talks about the first half of PS4, like where it was
um,
called Indie
yeah,
Station, and it was quiet, and we barely got a
yeah,
game here and there, but not like that.
PS4 did start slow. Like,
Yes,
you
yes,
can,
and like that's why I'm like, why are we pretending like the PS5 isn't doing a lot better at the same time than the PS4 was? And everybody's getting so upset. But I'm like, the PS4 didn't kick off until those last few years. And we're about to get up onto that point with the PS5 where it's going to
I,
be in its last few years
I,
next year. Last year,
I
I mean,
think,
next
I
year, Lord
think,
Jesus.
I think it's because when PlayStation 4
Mm,
was busy with what you call it, Infamous and Drive Club, when
yeah,
they released their showcase, it was hit after hit after hit, especially
yeah,
when Horizon came next year, I think.
yeah,
After
because that was when E3 2016 happened. That's when they showed that
and
crazy lineup
yeah,
that was happening.
and from there on, it was banger after banger after
Yeah,
banger after banger, non-stop. That's why this one, yes, they started strong, but if not for third party and especially the China Hero project, they would be so
sure. But the
lackluster.
thing about it is, like, these things take, like, the reason they were able to give banger after banger after banger is because everybody's cycle had ended, so they were all lining up to release at the end of the generation. The same way they're about to all line up for this end of the generation. Like, it takes time to get to that point. But I do agree, they have third party and second party, but that's what you're supposed to do as a publisher and as a console manufacturer. If your studios aren't ready, it's your job to provide your console consumers with games. Like, and PlayStation makes sure to do that. I mean, they can't force, and we shouldn't want them to force these studios to hurry up and get ready. So in order to fill that gap, they make third party deals and second party deals. They do the China Hero project, the India Hero project that we seen. Like, they're making sure to partner with all these other studios and all these other publishers to fill those gaps in until they can get, until their first party is ready to showcase. Because we know that once Sony's first party is ready to show, they don't just show up, they show out, right? Like, they go above and beyond. So it's like PlayStation knows, let them cook, let them work, and when they're ready, they're gonna, like, everybody gonna be on Sony's good side again. They're gonna be like, oh my god, once PlayStation shows that showcase and shows all the games they have, everybody's just gonna be right back on Sony's nuts and be like, oh my god, guys, see, this is what we've been waiting for. And I'm like, but it was always coming. Y'all are just patient, and I get not being want to be patient because PlayStation's being quiet and they haven't really been saying anything. But I'm sure that's to the wish of their studios, because PlayStation Studios only likes to show stuff when they have something. And so I'm sure when they finally have something and when everything's lined up, so PlayStation and Sony, they're gonna show an amazing showcase. I'm sure of it. Like because that's just what they do. Like their first party studio is that upper echelon that everybody, the bar that all the other studios want to reach, right? Like your PlayStation studio, there's a certain bar. But like I said, I get wanting it because I want it too. I want the showcase. I want the first parties. I want to see what all these studios are working on. I especially want to see Sucker Punch. Like I can't wait to see Ghost. I think Ghost is gonna have that horizon jump from like Zero Dawn to Forbidden West. I think
Oh,
Ghost is gonna have that
I
because
I
they're
oh God, you're
yeah.
gonna
I,
hate me
I
for
I
that,
think that.
but I hope it's next gen only.
What you mean
Otherwise,
you hope? It is gonna be next gen only. PlayStation's not doing PS4 anymore.
I hope
There
I
ain't no
hope.
hope. It's gonna be
Yeah,
PS5
Hey,
only.
that's a wrap at this point.
Yeah,
if
they've already established that this is PS5 at this point. Like you got PS4, you out of luck. I mean,
then
that's why Horizon Lego ain't gonna be PS4, and people, oh my god,
then
why not?
the
Because they're
jump
moving
is
on.
gonna be way bigger
Yeah, that's
from
what I'm saying. That's why
Horizon.
I think it's gonna be the Horizon 2. And what I mean by that is like the night and day difference between those two games, right? Like the facial animations, the NPC interactions, the environmental effects, like the pixels, like like I'm saying that kind of jump. Because one thing a lot about Ghost, like the the facial animations just were not the best. Like it was NPCs kind of moved stiff. The conversations were kind of weird. Like it was just the mocap was like okay, but it's that type of stuff that I think is going to be
I would not be
elevated in this next
surprised
game.
with this one. They have way more budget for this
Oh yeah, oh
one.
absolutely. You don't think PlayStation handed them an empty check and said go ham?
Yeah,
Like like these people made it a amazing game, one of the best selling PlayStation game in Japan at that time. Like that game sold amazingly, did amazingly, did so well that the creators became ambassadors of
yeah, I became
Tsushima.
ambassador.
Like
Yeah,
yeah, PlayStation handed them dudes a blank check and told them make a sequel.
no
Absolutely. You
way
want to
in
make you want to make
hell.
another one? Sure.
Yeah,
Like that yeah that the budget is I doubt that it's been limited at all for them. But yeah, I'm getting off topic, but I can't
mm,
wait. I'm ready for this showcase whenever it is. Like I said, I don't know when it's gonna be. I would hope that they do it at the same time that they're doing their announcement for the Pro, because that's supposed to be supposedly announced in September. Like we know the Pro is real, that's coming. Um, I think it'll be announced in the end of the year, September. That will be a good time to do the showcase, do the whole showcase, and then reveal the Pro at the end, right? And show
I
what
genuinely
these
don't
games are gonna look like
feel
on the Pro.
I genuinely don't feel pro needed. Mostly because
See,
we
and
haven't
that's fine for you.
gotten the best
You
out
cannot
of.
need it, but I want it.
Yeah, I need it.
Well, yeah, you can want it, but
No, I
it's
need
not
it.
needed because
Yeah,
we
I
haven't
need it.
gotten the most out of the base one. That's what
They
I'm
they
saying.
continue they continue to pull everything they can out of the base one the same way they did on PS4. And for people who are fine with that base level experience, have a ball. I ain't got no
You
problem
can
with that.
stay on that base and get the most out of it until the end of the generation. I'm not gonna fault you for that, but I am gonna get the Pro, and I'm gonna get the most out of that. That's what I'm
Absolutely.
gonna do.
Yeah, I don't want to have to pick between performance and resolution. I want both. I want my
Yeah.
You
game performing and, looking amazing all at once.
and
hmm
resolution.
Yep. So, I need it,
Absolutely.
especially when
All
you're
right, we spent
talking
enough
about that.
time, breaking in Omar's knees, but I'm sure he hasn't learned anything from this. It's fine. We'll do it again
Hey,
next week.
Next week.
what what
I'm
what
just
is
I'm
it
just
that
I'm just
you
getting
said?
ready
What you
for
said? You
to make it a
segment or
segment.
something?
We just need to make this a weekly segment where we just,
Ah, I
just
hate
give
you.
Omar
Go on.
his daily beatings.
And shout out to
Go
the
on.
chat. They know what's up. They all down with the PS5 Pro, as they should be. You know what I'm saying? We need that day one. So
hmm
shout out to the chat. They know what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? My man's Henry and Hero, and obviously Priscilla is excited for the Pro. She loves her tech. But yeah, absolutely. Um, More PlayStation news, of course, alongside Bungie. Uh, this has been a fun one. now it has officially come out. Bungie has not reached the metrics that they were promised.
Not a fun one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun one. It's a fun one for me because
Y'all mean,
I called
man.
it. So yeah, no. Destiny 2 has gone through some very turmoiled times over the last couple of years. Some people loved bits of it. Some people, hated it. Most people I know that were even diehards into it have quit
They're
a
done
while
with.
back. Um,
Yep.
they definitely lost a lot of people with the sunsetting of a ton of things. They got rid of a lot of the old content, and a lot of people that was the draw for them. When you're removing content that I personally paid for that I can no longer access, there were a lot of
That shit
things
was
that they
wild when
did.
you told me about that. I
Yeah, the
did not
fact
know
that
they
you
were
can't.
doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy. They literally bought content, DLC, and they removed it from the game. It's no
Yeah,
longer
That's
there.
that's insane.
yeah,
Yeah,
there was a lot of things that they did that were like that just kind of uh, set people off the wrong way, and they were doing a lot of weird things. And eventually, yeah, Final Shape came out. They finally listened to a lot of things a little before that, and started making changes based on what the community actually wanted.
it's little
But
too late.
yeah, it's just too little, too late. And obviously, we saw the articles from a while back when they lost about 50% of the player base from their peak, and then it just kept going down from there. They enticed some people to come back with the final shape. Obviously they did some good stuff with the final shape. Like some of the guys were stating, they released their most praised DLC ever or expansion ever. But again, that doesn't really mean much when your game is essentially over. That was the end of it. Like somebody stated, even people that were diehard fans, they kind of looked at the final shape as, I completed the raid, this, that, and the third. That was the last of my tenured time on Destiny. That was the end of the 10 years, and it's over. It's time for them to bring something else to the table. And even if it was Destiny 3, like, it's got to be something drastically different. That was kind of the problem with Destiny over the years, is that, like, it was cool for a bit, and then they just kept doing more of the same. And then, people were noticing guns were like the same gun, but it had some leaves on top of it, and it was a
Oh
different
man, not
color.
reskinning. Oh, they doing
Yeah,
that EA bullshit.
yeah, they were doing a lot of stuff, trying to
Nerfing
cut times.
guns.
Yeah, nerfing guns, doing like all kinds of stuff, and then honestly not taking care of the cheating problem that popped up that got pretty prevalent on PC for a while. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Bungie really they Bungie killed themselves. Uh, but yeah, like they were saying, Hero was saying Bungie within a year end up as a 350 person studio, and yeah, most likely they're cutting a ton of personnel right now that had to do with Destiny. Basically, if you're not going to SIE and you're not critical to Marathon, whatever that turns out to be for their next game, you're pretty much gone. I did find out the two guys that Luke Smith and I forgot the other guy's name, but the two big guys that were major for Destiny. So they weren't actually part of the layoff. What happened was once they heard about it and got the details of the integration and how everything was going to go, they decided to leave the studio. So they weren't actually part of the
Mm,
layoffs.
I respect
So
that principle.
which
yeah,
is crazy.
yeah. So I mean, it was obviously bad
We
enough
gonna hear
that they
them.
Your
weren't about it.
We're
studio
gonna
is
hear
so
about them making
terrible
their own studio.
that
Oh
you're
yeah,
I guarantee it.
choosing to leave on your own. That's crazy.
yeah, I mean these guys were pretty critical. So I mean the create you're talking about the creative director, who was really a huge part of Destiny 2 and um, everything else that was going on at the studio. These guys were always front and center on the updates and things like that. So for them to lose them, I personally felt like it was a heavy blow, but we'll see what the remainder of this studio is for Marathon and what they're going to do going forward. But obviously, like we said, PlayStation is now integrating them as a full-on first-party studio who will lose their ability to operate independently. Because they obviously could not conduct themselves well within the budget they were supposed to and the time constraints they had. So, I mean, what that holds for the future for them, we're gonna have to see. Um, is this something? I guess the real question here is, based on what we're seeing, everything that's going on, are you? Is this something you're excited to see from them in the future? I know most of you guys didn't really play Destiny, and I know Omar played it recently and still wasn't feeling it.
Yeah,
So
I had to rant about it. I felt insulted that my brother was enjoying it. I couldn't I couldn't get my I couldn't get my mind out of Destiny 2.1. I'm focusing on light. My brother, you don't need light. I'm like, excuse you? And the biggest problem is the game doesn't even explain to you that. Like the game is so terrible for newcomers, it's not even funny.
I agree.
And my question is, PlayStation, this is happening under your nose. How you allow a studio like that to dictate what other studios on your end are going to do? Welcome to their game, allegedly.
No, I mean, yeah, that's why I
That's
did
what's
say
breaking
that
my brain.
I wasn't a fan of hearing that Bungie was the one that gave advice to Naughty Dog, and that's what essentially ultimately led to the cancellation of Factions 2, because someone who is well, associated with the things that Bungie does for their monetization, I wasn't actually a big fan of it. So, yeah, I don't know how that went. They claim they thought it was good advice, but um, I guess we'll have to see what they do with that in the future now that they're going to be integrated and they no longer get to operate autonomously.
They wanted casuals over hardcore. That's what they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely
And
Well,
it's
I
trying to pull
mean,
the
the
shown.
punches.
casuals make up a bigger portion of the game community than the hardcore does. That's why.
There is a reason why whatchamacallit is way more beloved. Destiny 1 over 2.
Yeah, that's very true. They definitely didn't cut a lot of content the way that they did on two. Again, a lot of bad practices, a lot of things that I'm sure they will forever not do going forward. But I mean, we don't know the structure of Marathon and how it'll compare to Destiny. I guess the real question for you guys is, are you confident in Bungie going forward within PlayStation with who's ultimately going to be left in this studio? And do you have any interest in their future projects, Morgan?
Let me tell you something. When PlayStation acquired Bungie, I didn't even blink. I yawned at the idea. I was like, anyway, I could give two shits about Bungie and whatever they choose to do. I honestly believe they could have used that money for damn near anything else. Like I would have taken Ubisoft, and I loathe Ubisoft. I would have taken
Yes,
them
Ubisoft.
over Bungie. Okay.
Interesting.
Like I don't care about Bungie or Destiny or Marathon or anything that they've ever. Listen, they were the original makers of Halo. Don't care about that either. Like there's nothing that they do that I care. It's not personal. I just don't care for this studio and the games they make. So personally, their fate, I I don't care. Like they could PlayStation could cut their losses, they can integrate them, they can give them a raise. It won't change my day or my output. Um they're integrating them, have like some of the employees to come in and make a new studio. Okay. It sounds like it's gonna be like another live service studio. Again, yawn, don't care. Because it's probably gonna be something I don't care about anyway. Um so no, I just looked at that news and kind of just chuckled a little bit because I was just like, interesting. This they spent. This is one of their most expensive acquisitions. and they're not really getting much out of it to me. You know, they spent like four times less on Insomniac and have gotten 5 to 6 times more worth out of Insomniac than they ever did Bungie.
To be
But, you
fair,
know,
Insomniac is such a, a luck draw. It's not even funny.
I wouldn't say it's luck because they knew what they were getting when they got Insomniac. You know, they've worked with them for a very
Yeah,
long time.
I'm actually talking about getting them because they try a lot and they wouldn't agree until at the
Yeah,
very end they
yeah,
did.
it's just persistence. Like, you know, asking a girl out 20 times, she finally says yes.
Mhm.
Like, I wore it down eventually, but yeah, you know, I just feel like that was a far better investment for a lot cheaper, you know. And then they got Bungie over here, and then what exactly has Bungie done besides tell you how to spend your money and then
Falter
crash
on
on
their own game. Yeah.
and then mess up on their own game? And then supposedly Xbox was interested in getting them, and they were like, nah, because they saw it was like
Yeah, they said
essentially
they
a
burned through money too fast.
yeah, they were just like, this doesn't really look like the best investment. But then again, you know, Xbox could just be talking because I doubt Bungie was even interested in going back into Xbox again.
I think
Like, I think that was
Yeah.
kind of the point of them leaving. So I'm just like, that's like a spited ex. Like, man, you know, I was thinking about getting with her, but you know, you know, I'm moving on to
Exactly.
bigger and better things. Like, bro, she wasn't, but she broke up with you. She wasn't interested to get back together with you anyway.
Yeah,
Like,
that
just
comment
talking,
was funny. I was
just
like,
talking.
yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I don't think you
They
guys
trying to
came
talk
to
while they on their
terms.
downfall, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, like, I mean, yeah, you know, we considered it, but you know, we weren't actually like, no, Bungie wasn't interested in y'all. Be serious.
no.
Um, but yeah, I don't care. I don't care what they do. I'm saddened for the people who lost their jobs. You know, I'm never a fan of when people, you know, lose jobs and now they got to go searching again. Like, I just feel like if you work in the gaming industry, you just gotta have that resume ready and on point, updated at all times,
All
because you
times.
just never know when you're gonna have to visit LinkedIn again and, you know, work some contacts and get rehired somewhere. But it's just, as far as like I said, Bungie's fate, and do I care about these new studio or the games they're making or Marathon? No, I don't. Um, and there's probably nothing they could, unless they start making single player games that pique me. There's probably nothing they could do that would entice me to care about them as an entity. I do think it's a better idea for PlayStation that they're integrated in with them now. Um, and I think it was smart on PlayStation's behalf to put that clause in the contract that, you know, they have to meet a certain criteria or profit at a certain point, or else they would be integrated into SIE. I think PlayStation saw this coming. I think they saw the iceberg ahead and was just like, "Oh yeah, sure, you can remain independent. Yeah, just make sure you meet this, and this, and this, and yeah, it's all yours." I feel like they saw that they were going to hit the iceberg and knew that they were going to eventually fold in. They were just like, "Yes, come to daddy. It's time. It's time. Fold in with us. You can't run for long. I'm here." I think that's just. I think it was just all a part of the play. Like, they knew this was going to happen eventually, and now Herman's in charge. So I guess we'll see what happens with this. I don't really know, like I said, what Marathon really is. I feel like they described it, and there was like an hour-long video about what it was. But again, I didn't care about Bungie enough to watch it. But I don't know, with the way things are going, with people who I know are hardcore Destiny fans who aren't even given Destiny 2, especially with the DLC that was so well received and well reviewed. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that that's not enough for
Yeah,
them
it
to
wasn't
give
for
this
me.
game any time of day. Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, we got a new IP, a new live service game. Is this y'all gonna make a 180 with this game, or like this gonna be the breath of fresh air for y'all? Like, cause if your IP that was so beloved is, you know, on a fiery ball to hell, like, is this new one supposed to be like any better? But that's just me. I guess I'm just glad that I was never a fan because then I don't get to experience this disappointment that a lot of people feel. I don't care. So, I'm on the winning end of this situation.
Absolutely. No, I get that. Um, like I said, I haven't played it and stuff myself. Like I said, thankfully I got out early, so I didn't fall for a lot of the
He said I dipped before it got tragic.
yeah, like I seen the writing on the wall pretty early, and we got out, and we had a couple friends that kind of stuck around, and we're like, I don't know. I was like, bro, the fact that you sound unsure tells me you should get out. Like,
You think those Destiny 2 servers are gonna shut down anytime soon?
I think they're gonna hold it up for at least another year, but
Mm,
honestly,
that's very optimistic of you.
yeah, I think they'll get another year just because like some people are just like diehard, like Destiny, and then the thing you gotta remember is that they have a content commitment already. So when you get like the $100 edition, it comes with the seasons, and the seasons are basically already
Oh,
laid out.
come on now. We know that has never stopped a live service game from shutting down. Like, yeah, we'll commit to 8 seasons, and then they get to season 2, and they're like, unfortunately, guys, we have made the difficult decision to shut down. We'll be reimbursing you through
Oh,
packs and skins and
you
and
got
ID,
it.
like,
So
that,
you're
that bullshit.
officially exposing yourself as
Hmm?
a public announcer for every single studio on Twitter, because you nailed it on the right on the money with how you
Oh yeah,
said,
the yellow
unfortunately.
screen. Yeah, the yellow screen of death.
Yeah,
That was
But we'll
so
see.
great. Unfortunately, we're going out of business.
Hmm.
Sorry to everyone that's
Shout out to the
impacted
fans
by
though.
it.
I
We
mean,
don't know how
it'll
it
depend.
happened.
It'll depend on how well the remaining player base does, and what
Yeah.
basically what's left of the I forgot what the term is, but the live service team. Like there's a team specifically that does nothing but basically patches Destiny while it's live, updates it while it's live. But yeah, it'll depend on really what's going on with them. Eventually, I imagine they'll transition over to Marathon as well. Um, so that's why I say at least a year. More than that would be kind of sketchy because I'm just like I just don't really have any plans to. So, but we've also seen some companies hold servers open for longer. What they might do is just lessen them. So as the player base gets lower, lessen the amount of servers that they utilize in order to negate the negative effect of the costs for servers. So I think that might happen more than them shutting it down. But yeah, it's disappointing. Um,
Just can't help but wonder if PlayStation still sees them as a good investment,
this
or
big old
like
asset.
do they feel it was worth that few billion they spent
I was gonna
on
say
them?
that was a lot of money, man, for a
That's a
whole
lot of
lot of
change,
nothing.
man.
Whole lot of
It's a lot
nothing
of
so far.
change.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you make an investment for a specific reason. They bought Destiny. They bought Bungie to help, in their crusade towards live service, which seems like a smart thing to do, kind of, because, when you're a publisher who makes mostly single player games, you need to lean on someone who has more experience in live service. So you would think, okay, there's Bungie, they do Destiny, pretty popular. It's a good idea. We can, buy them up and then kind of have them give their input on our direction for live service. But then you bring them over and then you see they're kind of a sinking ship. Their game's kind of going on a downturn. People aren't really playing it. They're upset because, they're taking too long with content, and, left and right, they're firing people, and it's just they're giving advice, and then live service games are kind of getting canceled. Other ones aren't meeting expectations. And then it gets to the point where they aren't profitable, or not necessarily not profitable, but they reach a point where they're not sustainable on their own. So now you have to integrate them in. It's just like
Okay.
I'm
So
just like PlayStation.
what Henry said, I do completely agree with that. So I do
What did
agree
Henry say?
that he said that they could spin the Destiny IP into movies and shows.
Bruh.
Destiny's story And
Sony's
characters
like the
are actually pretty lit. Like, I'm not gonna lie about
he's,
that.
he said we're gonna have to give this. We're gonna have to give Bungie to the movie division, the Sony movie division.
Hey, look, hey, Cade Six and all the other characters, they're really big. So I could see them spinning something dope.
It probably would make a good little sci-fi TV
Hell
show
yeah.
or movie. Oh man,
Yeah, I mean, you're not
that's
wrong
so that's
there.
oh
Sony
man.
got the chops to do it. So that's the one thing they could definitely do that. But yeah, man, it'll be interesting. I'm not writing them off completely. You know what I'm saying? Like Wara said, they do still control about 800 and something devs left. So, how they kind of make that work with who's left, who's going to stay on the Bungie side, maybe who's going to join other teams and, Sony. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, I mean, at least as far as I've seen, like I said, from Marathon, I have zero interest in it so far, but
Oh man.
maybe they'll change my mind when they actually start to show more. um I'm not an objective person when it comes to multiplayer, and it looks very objective based. They were having that conversation on another show I was watching the other day, about a lot of shooters and stuff these days not having a TDM mode. And again, Priscilla in the chat, as well as Morgan, when we all played Call of Duty heavy, we all played TDM.
All they care about is the ADHD ridden, 10-year-olds who all want to play freaking battle royales and
Battle
shit.
royales and
Like,
stuff. Yeah,
I just want a good old fashioned team deathmatch. I just want to shoot people on the other side and do it better than anybody else.
absolutely.
It's simple, but it's effective and it's wonderful. Like I like that. That's the mode I like to play in. And it's just they only seem hell bent on making like these intricate adrenaline ridden like just modes that half the time seem ridiculous to me. I'm like, what is this? You got to capture this and then do this at the same time while hopping on one foot. Like, what is this mode? Like, I'm just like, yo, just where's the team deathmatch at?
No,
That's all I
I
want to
agree.
play.
Yeah, I don't like playing the objective, and they're like, you got to throw smoke on it, and then you got to do this, and then you got to put the
Mm-hmm.
thing out so that the grenades don't
Yeah, no
work, and then you
scope.
got, yeah, I'm like, nah, forget all that, man. I just want to shoot them. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but yeah, like I said, he brought up a really really good point. That would actually be dope for someone like you, uh, who hasn't played the games. I think you would really enjoy the story.
So
Um,
I will stay a granny. Priscilla said, "Get with the time, grannies. Listen, I'm gonna stay old. I don't care."
she'd be over there watching the story too. She'd be okay. But yeah, Weeb, how do you align, I guess, with I mean, I know you didn't play Destiny like that, so your kind of thoughts align with what Morgan was saying as well? You're just kind of like, I don't really give about Bungie, you know.
Yeah, we're of the same mind there. The only thing that want to add there is because
Hmm.
the reason why Sony's able to take over now is because they had this clause where if they have to make sure they stay out of the red to be to remain independent. And there are questions, did Sony sort of bank on that they wouldn't be able to do that so they could take control of that? I mean,
Yeah, some
I
people said
don't
that
think
they
there
kind of
is.
planned on it. Like, I'm like, they were like,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
this was the evil empire.
yeah, but the thing is, this is just business 101.
Hmm.
Of course, if you're gonna make a deal like that, I mean, Bungie, they needed money, they needed somebody to make basically kept them afloat. At the same time, didn't want to lose their independence, so they made a deal. But you can't make a deal like that, without any collateral. The collateral is there. Yeah, okay, sure. As long as keep making money, keep being profitable, it's fine. But obviously, if you can't do that, if you know basically run the business into the ground, yeah, then somebody needs to step in. That's obvious. I don't think Sony really intended to say, yeah, no, sure, run into the ground so we can take care of it, because why wouldn't you want them to be successful? But it's just hedging your bets, right?
Yeah.
So if they succeed, great. If they don't, okay, then we have a plan B, and we'll use them. We'll manage them directly, see if we can turn that around, and use them. Maybe to develop their own service games. But I guess profitable. The thing, but it is kind of interesting that Microsoft quotes. It obviously it's just petty, and like it was never really an option for them to buy them. But
Mm-hmm.
it is interesting sort of to note that service games you burn through a lot of money, right? I mean, you can, if you're really successful, obviously you can suddenly become really big, but the things that you have to constantly keep on developing content for a game like that. And sure,
Yeah.
if you have to develop a new game that also costs money, but there it's you sort of, once a game is done, say single player game is done, it obviously sales will decline at a certain point, but you will be able to, you're done with that. You can focus on the next thing. You don't have to keep on making sure that your game has a user base, a sufficiently large user base, are keeping engaged. And so it isn't the, let's say, the cash cow that's often portrayed to be. Like I said, like, it can be very successful if you're one of the big ones. If you make it, you can make a shit ton of money. But you'll also have to accept the fact that you have to burn, as I said, burn through a lot of money. And you might not always make it, or even if you're somewhat successful, you may in the end, end up in the red. It's basically like sort of the Netflix analogy there, where you have to spend a lot of money, and maybe at some point you will be successful, but there's no guarantee there. I think Bungie is a perfect example, because Destiny is still a huge IP, but
Mm-hmm.
if even they can stay afloat on their own, it says enough. So I do also hope that somewhat tempers Sony's, already did, but even further, there are sort of gas ambitions that maybe that they will probably use them to refocus a bit. But I'd say you see that it's not that easy, and you probably shouldn't indeed put all your eggs in that basket. Like your own single player IPs, they cost a lot of money. There's a risk, but you also have they have proven to be very successful, and you have a proven team, proven development studios that can deliver. So I'd say make sure if you're Sony, make sure you don't forget what your core business is. All right, what you're good at. Stick to that, and leave the you can try, but never go, as I say, don't go full Ubisoft, never go full Goss, right?
Oh man. Nah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I'm glad, like you said, that their expectations have been tempered. They cut back, the gas initiative in half from 12 to 6,
Mhm.
and kind of refocused, which is, and do what they normally do, focus on quality, not quantity. Um, that whole throw it at the wall and see what sticks thing doesn't really do that. Like, really, like, ask yourself internally, is this actually fun? Is this actually something people want to play? Is this something the industry really needs right now? And people are looking forward to playing. I think, a big thing that people ignore, about Helldivers 2 success is that, look at the hunger people had to play a quality game with their friends that was not focused on PvP.
PvE, everybody.
Exactly.
PvE. The
Mhm.
people are hungry for it.
Absolutely.
But everybody keeps making PvPs. It's like, if there's 78 PvPs and only this little tiny map, like, that's why I'm surprised that wasn't PlayStation's main focus when it came to live service. Like, do live service, but do it the PlayStation way. You know, that third-person shooter PvE style.
Absolutely.
That should have been their focus. Like, let's not copy what everybody else is doing. Like, let's live service it the PlayStation way. That's why when I was like saw Helldivers 2 initially, like for the first time, like, you know, back, what was it, last year, at like the first state of play or whatever, I instantly was just like, whoa, what is that? Like, it just drew me instantly. I was like, okay, that looks fire. And I kept seeing it. I say, yo, I think I'm gonna play that game day one, because it was different than all the rest of these multiplayers out here. I was like, this looks fun. It's third person. It's PvE. You can play it with your friends. Like, it looks silly. It just looked like the type of multiplayer that I had always like thought that PlayStation would make. You know, that would be their if we know whenever they started jumping into live service, this was the type of live service game that they were gonna make.
Exactly.
And so there was Helldivers 2, and I was like, okay, so maybe I'm a little excited about their live service direction. And then we see Concord, and I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, what?
No.
That's why I
You
think
can
everybody
think
was
about
excited
it.
for 2, because people were like, okay, it's gonna be like, you know, PlayStation's big, you know, their well-known IP, you know, The Last of Us, and everybody loved, like, you know, the first multiplayer for The Last of Us 1. So they're gonna take that, they're gonna make it bigger, you know, that gritty third person, you know, PvP. It was PvP, but it was like PvE. You could make it PvP too, and it was just like just a bigger experience of that. And I think that's why people were excited for it. And then that got canned.
Oh, that was
But
definitely why I
then
was excited for it.
yeah, and then Concord got greenlit, and I was just like, huh. But why? I mean, I get it. At the end of the day, it's like Naughty Dog
PlayStation.
didn't want to become a live service studio. The game got so big that it would take the entire studio to dedicate themselves to it, well, or at least most of it. And they were
Yeah,
just
they
like,
definitely
we
have to be
can't
careful of
do
that.
that. And like I said in the chat, like at the end of the day, if it was the multiplayer for The Last of Us versus 3 new single player IPs, I'm picking the 3 new single player IPs every single time. But
Thank you.
I just wish maybe they would have given it to another team. But I get Naughty Dog are kind of like perfectionists, and I'm guessing they didn't want to hand it off to anybody else. It's like, nah, that's our baby. We don't really want to give it to anybody else. But I don't know. I just wish maybe they would have handed that off to Firewalk. Okay, we've done like 90% of the work. Can you guys just maintain it? Like, take our IP, and dedicate yourself to maintaining that, the service updates, stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not speaking off experience. I'm not a developer. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But I just kind of wish it still
I
would
wish they would
exist.
have at least given us a chance, like to test
Yeah.
it closed, maybe under NDA or something.
You know, it would have been funny
like
if we did get to test it and it was just ass.
I
Like, it
mean,
was just so bad. I could just imagine the fallout if that game was just not fun. Like, people were
I
like, "Oh my god, you spent 4 years on this." People would have
yeah.
just the pitchforks and torches people would have had
Well,
for Naughty Dog.
the reason I say I was confident in it is because playing what they've done over the years, not only in the multiplayer of factions, but also the Uncharted one, was actually a lot of fun. Like,
So that's why I said I think it was a good multiplayer, but what PlayStation wanted was a good live service game.
they want a good life, yeah, and that's very
Yeah.
different.
apparently they got a visit from Bungie.
Well, yeah, we know
That's
that.
the rumor on the street.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Bungie was like, cool, but this isn't really a live service game. Like, because you need monetization, seasons, battle passes, stuff like that. And I don't think Naughty Dog, they don't really have experience in those realms. So Bungie was like, you need this, and this. And you're going to have to, do updates every few months. You're going to have to do this, and that. And they were just like, wait, whoa. We don't have time for that. Yeah, so they were just like, nah.
I get what Wara was saying earlier. It's not, we're not saying like no PvP whatsoever. Like, because he was mentioning that
I am. No, I'm just
that
kidding. No, I'm
no,
just
he was
kidding.
mentioning that Dota and CS are like Steam's highest, but what we were saying was like um in the regards of the fact that that market is so saturated,
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation's thing is they tend to do best when giving you something that no one else is
Mm-hmm.
doing. Like that's why I
Yeah.
always say when people are like, "Oh, I want PlayStation to do something different," and I'm like, "Who else is giving you these this level of quality in third person story based games?" Like, I don't want
Yeah.
them to do something else because no one else is giving me
It's
that.
so yeah. I always find it so funny because they're like, do something else. But I'm just like, every time a third party publisher releases a single player narrative driven game, everybody gets so excited. They're like, oh my god! Like Plague's Tale, Jedi Survivor, Hogwarts,
Mm-hmm.
any of these type of games, right? Uh, people get excited. They're like they're hype as hell because that's a genre. Whether people like to admit it or not, people like AAA blockbuster ish games, but people only get upset when PlayStation releases them, even though when third party releases them, they're always compared to PlayStation. Like, oh, well, it's just like this. It's just like Ghost. It's just like The Last of Us. It's this. Like, because PlayStation sets the bar for that category, and then everybody just compares the rest of the industry to that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
whenever somebody makes a third person action adventure, open world, or single player game, everybody just compares them. Like, oh yeah, it's kind of like God of War. Like, that's always the bar. And so, let's be real, if PlayStation stopped making those type of games, there would be it'd be the biggest backlash. We already see it now with like just the thought of them going with live service games has people so upset. Oh my
Absolutely.
god, the PlayStation you know and love is dead. I'm like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Y'all were
Right.
just saying for them to switch up. And now when they do it, y'all are like, oh my god, the PlayStation we know is dead. You know what? You can't please people out here. It's
That's why I
the
said I
game
always tell
community is
people
so
just
fickle.
remember I never asked for this.
Yeah, I'm like,
like
I'm
that
not
was
with they
them.
all. I'm not with they all. I never asked for them to do this.
Oh
yeah,
yeah. I also
I'm
say the
like
real PlayStation fans weren't asking that. It's always the people on the outside saying PlayStation needs to switch up, but then when they do, they're like, see, oh man, they look, the quality's gone down, man. They need to go make a single player. Wait a
yeah,
minute.
so all I'm gonna
Now
tell
hold
people
on.
is this is why you need to be specific in what you ask for. Because I keep telling people, and this came up on Brat's show where they were talking about this, and he was talking about you need to give actionable, constructive criticism when you are speaking about what you want. And this is the problem with people, including BG. That's my guy.
Oh man.
That's my guy. But what was he yelling for so many years? PlayStation need to make a multiplayer. PlayStation need to make multiplayer. Then they made Concord and he didn't like it. And now he got specific and said, well, I want a more traditional multiplayer game. You should have said that from the
But
beginning.
Oh
but to
man.
be fair though, with all the respect to BG, it's not that big for PlayStation to listen to him.
No, I'm
PlayStation
not. No, I'm not
is
saying
listening to the outsiders
that's not what I'm saying.
that
Though.
don't know shit what they're talking about.
But
These
I'm
are the
talking
people.
about people in general need to be more
Mm.
specific when they are claiming they want other stuff. These are the people you need to ignore. This is what I'm saying. The people who are not specific, the people who are saying silly stuff, like we know who they are, right? The people who are saying, "Oh, PlayStation doesn't have shooters. PlayStation doesn't have this, that, and the third." The same people who are trying who
They
want
all make the
PlayStation.
same. They just make the same game over and over again. I say that's
Yeah,
interesting
we
because
know
Yeah,
who is saying that because they want PlayStation in the same
it's
position.
funny how they don't all sell the same, but apparently they're all the same game.
Yeah,
It's just yeah,
exactly.
interesting.
But we know who's saying that, right? The people who want PlayStation in the same position as their current system.
Oh yeah.
hmm
Like they want
Because when they get
PlayStation to do
when they
this.
get those single player action adventure games, oh
They go
man, ooh
crazy.
wow, ooh wee,
Yeah.
excitement, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, Indiana
they haven't
Jones, what?
yeah, they haven't seen this level of excitement. And let's be real, the same thing. Matter of fact, it's funny, Indiana Jones is on the screen right now and you mentioned that, right? The
Oh man, look at that.
the thing about that we said before, right? What did they want and you guys in the chat, you could tell me you seen this because I know y'all seen this on social media. All of the Xbox fans wanted Indiana Jones to be what? A third person game, exactly. And
I
then when
heard
it
it
was first person,
all over Twitter when I was watching like Xbox podcasts before they officially confirmed it was first person. That I saw podcasters asking people in the chat, "Hey, you guys want it first or second?" They had polls up or first or third person. They had their polls up. Everybody was saying third. I want third. I want a third. I want a third. Like they all wanted it third person. I mean, myself included. I wanted Indiana Jones to be third person. And when people said, well, machine games, they're known for first person, and that's probably what they're gonna stick to. What were they saying? Oh, people can switch. You see, Gorilla, they used to make first person. They switched to third with Horizon.
mm-hmm.
That was they got all defensive. Studios can change. They can change, and then boom, announced first person, and then what happened? They flip flopped again. Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. First person's good. It's fine. That's fun. It makes more sense. You could be Indiana Jones skin that way. You could get a more close up, interaction with the characters in first person. It's all good. Like they made every excuse in the book, and I'm just like, I'm not saying you don't have to not want to play the game. That's perfectly fine, but don't lie and say you're all cool with it. Like y'all wanted it to be third, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can still want to play it, but you don't have to lie that you're disappointed that it's first person.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell people the reason we brought this up specifically for me is because I don't like when gamers do that. Don't back off of what you want because that's what they pay attention to, and they're like, oh, that's when like when Jim was like, oh, there was no backlash, so
yeah,
and it's like no,
when they first put games on PC, they were like, there wasn't any backlash, so we thought it was fine. We were like, wait, what?
Yeah, like nah, it was.
So you just go ignore us?
Yeah, it was rioting in the streets. I was like, so don't say that. So I was like, nah, never let them have you change what you want from them. Like I'm always vocal about the things I want. Like earlier, I know SheFresh mentioned, who he would want to work with PlayStation, as a new, acquisition, right? And it's funny he brought up CD Projekt Red because we haven't said it on the show, but privately when we were discussing who we would think would be great to work with the way that PlayStation Studios pipeline does well with, we always mention CD Projekt Red as a big, component that could really work well with PlayStation.
To be honest, that's an acquisition I definitely would have taken over Bungie. I mean, I know before people come, I already know CD Projekt Red isn't up for sale, and they've said it multiple times.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a lot. It's a whole thing. Like I don't even think they can because of the way it's set up. Like this isn't me saying it will be or will ever be. This isn't a rumor. This is just if I could pick one and I had a wish, it would be CD Projekt Red.
Absolutely. Yeah, that team, like I said, just that there's a certain, I guess, when you pay attention to the way studios go about things, the way they craft their stories, the way their pipeline works in development. I think pretty much most of y'all have played at least The Witcher 3 or Cyberpunk 2077 by now, and it's like there's a certain level of quality. Yeah, that man still got to. And CD Projekt Red is just one of the few people that they're up there. CD Projekt Red is up there when it comes to one of the top tier studios. And obviously the other two major Western RPG developers were snatched up by Xbox. But yeah, having CD Projekt Red work with PlayStation, I'd love to see what they could do working with the internal studios and first party teams from PlayStation, really getting even more help than what they've already got, and even possibly working with the Decima engine. Like that team is incredible technically. Damn. Yeah, and getting access to tools like that would be
Why'd you have to mention the Decima engine again? Because now I'm thinking about Death Stranding.
I know.
Why are you doing this?
Exactly, Henry. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. That final polish, that seal of approval that PlayStation games usually have on their top tier stuff, man. like, oh my god, bro, like, because I know they're switching, they're moving away from the Red engine, so they're going with
Yeah, they're
Unreal.
Unreal.
Um,
It's very interesting. I've seen on like many developers, you know, basically retire out their personal engines and start using Unreal.
mm-hmm.
It's very, very interesting, especially since Unreal is kind of, well, at least Unreal 5, it's very wishy-washy
Yeah,
right now.
they've got a lot
Um,
of kinks to work out, and performance is definitely kind of all over the place. Versus, again, like something like the Decima engine, which is just achieving some insane
yeah,
results with great quality.
they need to start selling that shit. Like, I don't know what kind of witchcraft and voodoo they have in that damn Decima engine, but it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Like,
it may be for that Wara, but I know specifically on the two newer projects, so The Witcher 4 and Cyberpunk, they are supposed to be going with
yeah, they
Unreal Engine
confirmed it was
5.
going to be Unreal Engine 5 for those two
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah, so but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Um but yeah, one thing I do hope, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, this is super random because we were talking about the Unreal Engine 5. If you guys have seen the tech demos when Unreal Engine comes out and stuff, one thing we were promised like 2 engines ago was that clipping was gonna stop happening.
Oh my god, that is one of my biggest pet peeves in games. Something that'll kind of take me out of experience, especially if like I gotta my characters look their outfit a certain way and it's like badass and I love it, but then whatever some kind of object keeps clipping through it, it bothers the
Oh,
hell out of me.
Yep.
That was
yeah.
one thing that I did not like saying. That's why I hope this Ghost of Tsushima specifically improvement is going to be from Horizon Zero Dawn to Forbidden West, because it's just one him walking upstairs is so funny. The way he kind of like does kind of like a ish action like upstairs or up like a steep mountain. Like he doesn't, his foot doesn't change angle. It's just going straight as he walks up, and that pisses me off. I'm like, I don't like that. That's ugly. Or when I
Yeah.
have it where his cape is on his ghost outfit, but his katana's sticking out of the cape. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that.
bro, it pisses me off because I'm like, yes, I got the outfit looking badass how I want with the matching katana, his ghost mask on, but his damn katana is sticking out and clipping through his cape. Like I'm trying to make badass
Yeah.
videos and take badass screenshots, but it's pissing me off that it keeps clipping every time he walks. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are like, I know it's not the biggest deal in the world, but those like the little things in games that just upset me so much. It drives me insane. Like I need that to be gone with the next game. Like I need
Yeah.
them to focus entirely on that.
Yeah, I forgot there
I
was
question if
something like
that's
that.
going to happen because Demon Soul has clipping.
Well, no, so it was supposed to, right? So on this is why I say by now it's supposed to be gone, because Unreal Engine 4 they showed a tech where it basically detected clothing and the other articles like that would normally be involved with clipping, and now we're on Unreal Engine 5, and basically what it was showing was like it would auto detect like two separate entities and prevent them from clipping into each other. So basically, something like Morgan was mentioning, the cape should detect the katana and float over it accordingly and stop clipping. Um, but yeah, I mean, when we'll truly get that, I don't know. I mean, I've seen that upwards of recently as like one of a super recent trailer, and it was like this trailer looked really good, and I was immediately bothered because like the commander or whatever in the video was talking, but he had on like a shoulder armor piece that was clipping into like his like general vest, and I'm just like, I can't pay attention to this because I am so bothered that this man's armor piece is clipping into his
Yeah.
coat right now.
And that's one of the things that I was so impressed with, and this is so random, but I was thinking about Alan Wake 2 when I saw the, like, it was like a specific it wasn't a trailer, but it was just like a specific gameplay section that they were showing before the game came out, when she was at the when old girl was at the little haunted carnival area. you know, and she had just found the crossbow,
Mm-hmm.
and she put it on her back, and she was walking down some stairs. There's like these little two holes at the top of the stairs, right? And her crossbow, instead of like clipping through the stairs, when she hit that little top part, it just kind of like it moved as if it was actually hit, like it just kind of moved out the way. And I was like, I love that. That is awesome. It's like it was so little, it was like really quick, but I noticed it. I was like, instead of her crossbow actually clipping through that part of the stairs, it moved like it would actually move if you had it strapped on your back and you hit something. It just moved out the way a little bit, like it shuffled. And I was like, oh my
Okay.
god, yes, that's what I need. I need games to start doing that, acting like that thing on their back actually exists, and reacting to it like it's a physical object and not just some decoration piece. Like
Yeah, I agree with that.
pretending
And
like
what
that's
was
a
the final
real
result?
that was what it was in the game, because I did the exact same thing
Nice.
in the game and it came out the same way, and I was like, yes. So it was like if Jin's katana had just formed a bump under the cape, like it was actually there instead of just clipping through the damn cape. Like it did that essentially, and I was just like, that's how
Question:
you're
Is it
supposed to do it.
maybe? Could it maybe be that focusing on it takes too much time? That's why they're
um
not doing that.
I mean, it probably takes a little more work. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's taxing, because I mean,
Yeah,
we saw how Alan Wake
Alan
2
Wake
looked.
2 is extremely taxing.
It's Yeah,
So
it's a beautiful looking game. Like, we see what it looks like.
yeah, and they incorporated all the latest things from the Unreal Engine. So yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like that's probably something where it's finally showing up.
Mhm.
No, that's what's
So
up
I
though.
just hope
So my question
that
is,
that's in there.
who controls that? What I mean by that is, who dictates if it's okay or not okay? Like if I'm PlayStation or Nintendo or Xbox, would I not want the best of my product, or unless that shit is interfering with whatchamacallit, with frame rate or stuff like that, I understand. Do not focus on it.
Yeah, so I mean,
But
you got to remember it's just going to be a case by case basis because each game,
Mm.
even each game that's in the Unreal Engine, right? I think Henry might have mentioned this earlier. I can't. It was either Henry or Wara, but um, basically, no, I think Henry said it. Basically, he was saying how some teams can really make the Unreal Engine, five basically sing. You know what I'm saying? They work really well with it. They could pull things out of it that others can't. So it's really just the studio. But the one thing you have to remember, right? And this is really really big for people because I know the Unreal Engine is middleware. You have to remember that even though each company gets the original copy of the Unreal Engine, then they take that and they customize it.
Yeah. And I think another part, especially when it comes to Alan Wake 2, is that didn't Epic publish the game? Because I knew it was like it's on the Epic store exclusively for
They
like a
got
year
it.
or whatever.
Yeah, they did get it exclusively for a while. So they did work with them
Yeah. So
directly.
I think what helped exactly. So I think that's what kind of helped get all these little, we're able to get a lot out of Unreal Engine 5 is because they partnered with Epic for this game. So,
There you go. Wara
I'm
said
sure
they
they sent
funded it.
their
So
Okay,
there
yeah,
you go.
see, exactly. Okay, I thought they did. So I know they had to send their engineers down there to help them, you know, get the most out of Unreal Engine 5. So I'm sure that's what helped, this game look amazing. I mean, we already know that, they're a talented team already, but I'm sure the engineers from Epic really kind of helped them, get every little kink, that they could out of the game. Um, but yeah, that game was beautiful. I'm trying to recall. This is the pony in me coming out. But I don't recall any games this generation from Sony's first party studios that were clipping bad. I don't.
Um,
Maybe I'm just not thinking
Demon
about it.
Souls, I just said it.
Okay, I
so is it
meant from
Demon
the
Souls?
core. I didn't really wasn't talking about them, but Blue Point is a first party studio. But I was more
Yeah,
talking about like
for the most
the
part,
core A team.
I didn't really see any, and that
And
says a
for the
lot.
most part, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was saying that says a lot because one game I could think of that should do it a lot but doesn't is actually Ragnarok, because of a lot of the way
Yeah, the stuff he puts on his
Kratos,
back.
yeah, Kratos' design is between his armors, his different armors, and the stuff on his back. That those are the
Hmm.
things that usually clip a lot, and
Yeah,
I don't remember really seeing that ever happening.
Yeah, but
yeah.
a question: is clipping not mostly Unreal 5 thing?
No, no,
I
no.
mean, Unreal thing?
It's on like
No.
every engine.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Ye-
That's what we're saying. So the reason I mentioned Unreal 5 is because in their tech demo they showed a cloth or different materials.
Oh yeah, the girl flying demo.
Yeah, kind of like going over things, and then it's like it's supposed to detect the object and keep them separated. So basically, so the dev doesn't have to do it. You just design this item, tell them it's a piece of clothing. Like Morgan stated, capes are the biggest thing that do this, right? Clipping
Hmm.
between that and not stepping on a stair properly. This is where the engine is supposed to detect the two objects and make them do that. How many times have we paid attention to a detail, right, in a game that we're playing, and you notice you how many times have you noticed when the character's actually stepping on the stairs? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
that's
or
such a big
they're doing
thing.
that weird floaty thing on the
Yeah, when they
stairs, or
exactly
their foot is clipping through the stair.
clipping through the
And I'm just
stairs.
like,
Yeah.
like one thing I love about Rockstar and Red Dead, people can hate on Red Dead 2 all they want, but the details and the physics they had in that game were top notch. Like I would just make it so that I would watch Arthur just walk around different terrain, steps, or his horse doing different stuff. Like I would just do that just because I just love the way the character would react to the world. Like his foot would correctly angle when he's going up a hill, because that's what your foot does. It slants to the angle of the hill you're going up to. It doesn't walk straight as if you're clipping through a hill and climbing it like a mountain climber. Like your foot angles, and it did that correctly. Like all the little physics in that game were just magnificent. And then I would go to another game in the same generation, and the game would the person would clip through a hill or walk this weird moonwalky way, and I'm just like, ugh, it
Yeah,
would
you
just be so
can
I
disappointing.
I
that's
just
amazing
tried it
breaking.
with Remnant 2, and
Hmm.
yeah, the stairs are floaty.
They're floaty. Yeah.
See, yeah, make it look
But
like they're
it's
like floating
also
like an inch
the
above the steps.
I think they made it so that you can run faster on it, because otherwise,
Well they do that stuff because like in a game like that typically, right? That game has a frenetic pace, right? It's very frantic. So they don't really expect you to stop and slow walk over the stairs. Like,
Hmm.
so until we just mentioned it, like I said, you hadn't really looked at it either, which makes
yeah,
sense, right? So that when you asked that question earlier, who decides what's okay? They probably looked at that. We're like, okay, but how many times is someone going to do that? And does it stop, you know, the game? Should we really take our time with this and go back and really go through this, or are people
Hmm.
just not going to really notice? And fair point, you've been playing the game, you've been loving it, and you haven't really noticed. So there's times where it's egregious, where it's like, okay, I'm definitely going to notice this, but there's times where it's not, right? Like, one of the things that I could tell you now that I noticed, even though I haven't played Remnant 2, the one thing I see, and this is another extreme version of clipping that usually happens, if someone has a backpack on, bulky clothing like a jacket, and then like they have like two assault rifles or a sword or something on their back on the side of the pack, those tend to clip a lot. Like you get that in a
mm,
lot of games as well
so
too.
I have that right now specifically. I have a backpack, and I have uh two big shit, and I'm trying. Mm,
I mean,
I
it may
can
or may not. They
see
might
it.
have done a good job with it. Some do a good job with it, but that's typically something that happens, which in mine is another reason why some studios go with first person, right? Like if you actually saw what was happening in third person in a lot of first person games,
Oh
it
God,
would look ridiculous.
hmm
Yeah,
It's so
after.
that's
I
why it's
mean,
so
we've
funny.
seen it with Fallout and all that jazz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always so funny looking at a predominantly first person game. If they give like a third person option, you can
Mm-hmm.
see why it was predominantly first person. Like the way the character moves is usually wonky and weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like the angle is just weird. It's just you can just tell it. Okay, this game was not made play in third person.
Exactly. They
Baby.
they can get away with certain animation qualities and stuff like that. Only really working on the first person version of it to be really
Hmm
really well done. But um, but yeah, I don't know. All good topics is all important things. Appreciate the chat
So
engaging
I
as
wanna,
well. But Capcom is something
before
that
you do
that you
that,
brought up.
I
What
wanna,
happened?
I wanna talk about my
Oh man.
own experience with Destiny. You skipped me about Destiny,
You were
Bungie.
speaking the entire time.
You forgot I existed. I've been
Oh
waiting to be
man.
to be called for my point the entire time. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
but
I'm
we're not
waiting.
talking.
I'm
We're talking about.
waiting.
Oh,
We're talking about the studio, not Destiny, though.
Yeah, no, Bungie. Yeah, Bungie as a whole. I
Oh,
just
go
want to
for it.
say this. I
Omar, we
understand.
don't get time for that.
oh man. Oh man.
I
Cut it short.
We better
my thing is
nowhere.
my thing is this,
Go ahead.
and I'm pissed about it.
Oh man.
PlayStation allowed Bungie to tell other studios what they're doing is wrong or how it needs to be fixed. Yet they fucking knew that Bungie is gonna be there soon. Like, can someone make that sense for me, please?
I
That's
mean, it doesn't
so
make sense.
conf- that's so confusing. If I bought you it, and I
Oh man.
know you, Morgan, and I
I
know
didn't say anything.
you
Go.
are. I gave you ultimatum. You're allowed to stay independent as long as you don't, as long as you're capable of keeping yourself afloat. But I knew beforehand you're not gonna keep yourself afloat. Why the fuck would I allow you to dictate what all of my studios are going to be doing?
Omar, we
Who's
talked about this.
we
There's no
didn't?
way. We
Yeah,
did, but there's no way that Sony just went ahead the deal, knowing that they wouldn't be able to
they
make a
knew.
profit. No, they didn't.
Ah, come on! They absolutely did, which is why they did. They put that what you call it?
I mean, they put that there because it's a contingency because that's what you want. Like, sure, you can keep independent, but you gotta do this.
The not conversation. The rumor is that Bungie was, already struggling.
Omar, sorry,
I told you.
I'm gonna cut you short because we actually talked about this, and now you're going back to the topic. So, next topic,
I
please.
never
Oh
talked
man.
about it
See,
though.
No, he said
you
that
already
we
got
Okay,
your
go
talked. We
ahead.
your knee.
talked about it
You
in the
already
very
you already got
beginning.
your knees buckled in for the last rumor you believe. So why are you trying to get another one?
You Not my problem if you weren't paying attention.
Yeah,
Yeah, Omar.
they
No,
did bring it
I
up, but
literally, I wanted to give my two takes.
I
But go
got you.
Nope.
ahead, you do you. I'm
So
Omar said,
like,
"Let
actually,
me get on my
I'm
soapbox,
actually,
bro."
I'm actually flabbergasted about this,
I mean,
especially now
we
that
we brought
we
it up
have.
during it though, but yeah.
Okay, my thing is with this. I'm curious what Herman House is going to do. Who he is gonna to let go? Cause he wanna do a clean streak with this clean slate with this one.
I mean, they still have
You
to.
you
They
you
maintain the
you
talent.
don't. Yeah, you don't know anything, Omar. You're just speculating.
Yeah, I mean, they you got to remember they're already working on another game. You have to maintain a working level of the studio. So, I mean, yeah, they are getting rid of some people, and some people are voluntarily leaving after the fact. But, I mean, we don't really know the depths of where that's going to go. Like right now, the 200 or so people, the 17% reduction could be the end of it. I mean, we're not going to really know because we don't know the amount of the team that's already working on Marathon, and then of course they have to maintain a working level of the team. Like I said, there's a live service team for Destiny 2. So yeah.
Marathon's gonna be Game of the Year 2027. Y'all just don't watch.
I hope it's good because I don't know what's gonna happen to Bungie if it's not.
Oh man. Mm. Yes, I'm just watching on the sideline with my binoculars, like ooh, that's just me when it comes to Bungie.
If you, my thing is this: if your PlayStation, would you not want to try to keep all the big shots? And I'm not talking about the higher up. I'm talking about the dev that put in the work and are known to do so.
Well, I'm sure that's why, or that's probably who they saved for their new studio. I'm sure that was their attempt to keep some of the talent. I mean, we got to remember PlayStation, when they acquired Bungie, they paid extra in order to keep, the employees on because they wanted that talent. So I'm sure whoever they hired for this new internal studio is probably, I'm not trying to say that the people who weren't hired weren't good enough, but I'm sure they took extra care to try to get, that at least that's what Jason Schreier said. That was their attempt to try to keep as many people as they could, because we got to remember the whole layoff wasn't even Sony's idea. This was Bungie's attempt
No,
at trying to save their studio. That was them doing that. And I see people blaming Sony for the layoffs, and that wasn't Sony's decision. That was Bungie.
no,
Mm.
that
And
was never Sony's
Sony
decision.
Sony's attempt to save a lot of the employees was them, bringing on 200 plus people to make that to come in and make a different studio. Um, so I'm sure they took some talented people from Bungie to this new studio to make this new IP. We'll see whatever it is, but
If
yeah.
I was PlayStation, I would have done so. Every person I see is leaving and I know can contribute, I would hit him or her privately up and say, wait, don't go anyway. I have a place for you. And now that Herman Holt is what you call it, rumored to be in charge, I would then have Herman hire everyone that left that is needed. Because Bungie is Bungie, yet for their depth, like their yes, they suck. They absolutely suck when it comes to no, let me explain. When it comes to the monetization and aspect and loot and stuff like that, but their gunplay is top tier. Like you can't deny their gunplay. Their gunplay and also their world building. They
Yeah,
have a
people
lot
seem
of
to be
flaws.
fans.
They have a lot of lore and stuff like that. But yeah, it's such a shame that what happened to Bungie. But it was a well played game by PlayStation because they knew what's about to happen.
That's what, again, you're saying they knew.
Because I absolutely believe they knew.
You can believe that, it doesn't make it true.
Sorry,
You can believe that, it doesn't make it true.
it
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean,
make it not true.
I mean they're not, but I mean
Still on that line, bro.
we've said, I mean they would have to be literally omnipotent or whatever to have known that. Like it's
Yeah,
an
I just
educated
think
guess, perhaps, but
I
yeah.
don't. Yeah, I don't think they necessarily knew. I just think when somebody hits you with um, a hold on, let me turn this. I can't even hear myself think. I had the YouTube on. Sorry. When you're making the business proposition and somebody hits you with a compromise, you have to put your a compromise of your own. Like, okay, so you want to remain independent, cool, but you can only do it if we do this. That's how you compromise, right? One person has one thing that they want, and then the other person has another thing. And I think that was just. I don't think PlayStation necessarily knew they were going to fail, but everything has contingencies. Sure, you can be independent, but you can only do it if do this. And that was their way of getting to that agreement, right? Because the thing Bungie wanted more than anything was their independence, right?
Mhm.
They didn't necessarily want to be acquired by anyone, right? They want to be an entity on their own, but they can't afford that. So they were like, okay, we'll get bought by Sony, but we don't want to be under SIE. We want to remain independent. And they knew they couldn't. Sony knows they can't fight them on that. Like, okay, that's what they want. So we have to bring some to the table that we want. Okay, you can do that, but only if you meet this certain quota or profit or revenue or whatever, right? And that was their want. And like I said, I don't think Sony necessarily knew that they were not going to meet their end of the deal, but they needed to have their own contingency to the table of this negotiation. Like, okay, you can remain independent, but it's got to be for this, so that if something were to happen, they could, in fact, bring them into the fold.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it in the chat, the other day, is that business is business 101.
Yeah,
that's
you
how
got to.
that's how you hedge your bets. Hey,
right, like you got your cards,
yeah.
I got mine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like the way people are with their kids. Yeah, you can go live on your own, but if you mess up and you come back,
Yeah, you gotta follow. You gotta follow rules. You gotta follow the rules.
Apparently, Bungie took a lot of it. They were working on a project called Matter that got cancelled, and then the team continued working on a similar project that was also cancelled.
Yeah, I mean, all that shit's canceled now. I mean, it's just now they got to rein them in. So Marathon and Destiny 2, and get everybody in line. So all those side projects, all those incubation projects they were working on, yeah, those are done.
Question: Is Concord? Can Concord be?
Absolutely fucking not.
No, let me explain what I'm saying.
If you're going to say, can it replace Destiny? Absolutely fucking not.
No, that was not what I wanted to say.
Okay, say it.
I wanted to ask, can Concord be categorized as a MOBA? That's what I wanted to ask. Because apparently Bungie was also working on a
None of us have
MOBA
played it, so we
called
couldn't tell you that.
Gummy Bear. Sorry?
None of us played it, so we can't tell you that.
Okay. Because apparently they're working on a MOBA-like game called Gummy Bears. And a new known IP at Matter.
I mean,
if gummy bears.
Yeah, if you've played a MOBA, I mean, yeah, they can be third person and stuff, but it's not created that way. Can they make a MOBA mode in it? Yeah, of course they could, but it's not going to be classified as that because that's not the focus of the game. So technically, no.
All right. So the lesson of this day: fuck Bungie, and let's move on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this one I want to go to Weeb because I know he's a real big fan of Capcom. Capcom mentioned, recently they announced that, they want to keep physical games alive for the foreseeable future. A contradiction to that, though, from Omar's point was that, they launched, obviously, Kunitsugami, and which, of course, is digital only. That personally didn't surprise me because obviously it's a smaller title, and they released it for I think $50. But that doesn't really surprise me. But also in the same vein, investors specifically are wanting to push Capcom to utilize the Mega Man IP more on a regular basis in the current time frame that we're in right now. Personally, Weeb, as a fan of Capcom, and I know Mega Man for a while. Number one, do you like the focus, obviously, on physical? How do you feel about that statement? And do you think Mega Man can survive in the current climate? Is there something they could do that would really make it thrive, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, that's actually really my point. That yeah, it does look a bit hypocritical when they said that, but yeah, obviously, like I said, it is a smaller title, and they're well, if the trade-off is either we don't put a physical or we won't make it, yeah, then the choice is obviously you just make it only digital. But yeah, it is at least good to hear that they're doubling down on that commitment, where the fear is there that these all these big publishers and console manufacturers are going to go full digital in the near future, which I personally don't believe in, and I don't think any serious business analyst believes in that, considering the market for physical still too big. Like even if it seems to now sort of have turned in favor of digital, but yeah, obviously if you're releasing a lot of these games only digital, and with the advent of subscription services, that share will naturally increase. Which doesn't necessarily tell you about this profitability, of course. But on the other hand, even if it's just if it in the end is 20% physical and 80% digital, you would be crazy if you would throw away that 20%. That's still billions of dollars you're gonna leave on the table, because there will be people who will not or are not able to buy digital because of poor internet connections, data limits, or because of where they are, or the fact that they're they don't have a budget, so they count on physical sales and buy the game secondhand, etc. So it is absolutely crazy to suggest that in a short amount of time that's going to disappear. And personally, yeah, I'm a collector, so obviously I like to have my games physically, but also ownership, right? That's the main advantage for having physical media. You actually own the game. They cannot take it away from you. They cannot put any strange toss in there and saying, we reserve the right to delete the game from your hard drive, which, while I don't think it has happened yet, is possible. For example, with movies that you bought on any online platform, that has happened in the past, that people were unable to access those even though they installed them, and but they were just removed from the platform, and therefore you were reminded that you basically just bought a license and not actually the actual product.
Yeah, you don't own it.
Yeah, so, but yeah, with games, unless of course it's an Xbox, because they fuck them with their always online bullshit. But with PlayStation, with Nintendo as well, like you can put those games in your console, and they can, and you don't need an internet connection to play. You can just play them out of the box, and maybe you won't have the benefit from a day one patch or anything, but the game is still playable. And that's the important thing. If down the line in the future, somebody decides to call quits or no longer support an older platform or older games, yeah, you still have the option to play those games. Or even in the short run, if you lose access to your account, you get banned or stuff like that, because that's still like in I guess a risk that exists, because you're really subject to whatever policies these companies have. You don't really have any control over that to a certain degree.
Agreed.
Yeah, so there's numerous reasons to mention why I think physical still the way to go. I'm sure there are advantages and disadvantages, but in the end, I think in terms of ownership, and cost, because obviously as long as these shops or online stores start keep asking you to pay the full retail price every single time for a new game, it's not going to happen. I mean, I can always get these games cheaper at random online stores. Like it's crazy that that they think they can get away with that. while it technically should be cheaper, obviously, because you don't have the cost of creating a physical packaging, physical disc, etc. Um, but yeah, I mean, good to hear that Capcom is doing that. Yeah, for Mega Man, yeah, they have said that they're yeah, I think what they said that it's an important IP for them and that they do intend to keep on making future titles, which is good because it was kind of crazy that at a certain point it looked like they were basically
Kind of
not gonna do
abandoning it.
anything with it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like crazy. Like it's one of the most iconic game characters ever, and you don't know what you have there. Like people crave nostalgia, crave the good games, and plus it's still a killer formula, and you can do so much with it. So yeah, I definitely see that they're gonna foresee that they're gonna keep on you know making games with them. And the thing is, like, you have to scale your expectations, right? Because like with a Mega Man game, you don't need to make like a GTA type game for Mega Man. Like we want to have those 2D experiences. You don't need to. They don't have to cost as much, and you don't have to expect them to lead the charts of whatever NPD or whatever in any month when they come out. But as long as they're successful and you're giving people what they want, I'd say go for it. I mean that's the way you should treat those franchises, not trying to milk them and make them the biggest thing ever and hope that you can get that GTA money or uh, uh, yeah, Call of Duty or whatever. No, it's not. It's not. If it never happened before with that IP, it's not gonna happen now. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to. Like if you can make a steady profit with Mega Man games for the foreseeable future, I mean, why would you not do that? So yeah, and well, Mega Man, but they have so many great franchises. Yeah, love to see them do more with Devil May Cry, for example. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad at least somebody is. Yeah, it should be obvious, but somebody's at least speaking up because that also might help alleviate some fears people have, but also maybe encourage other companies to follow suit. And the thing is, it's probably more in line of what we've seen before, when loot boxes were a thing, and then developers were advertising with, yeah, but we're giving you a multiplayer game, but there's not going to be any loot boxes,
Yeah.
right? As if that was a feature, right, of the game. Like,
True.
be thankful that you like, and I see it in sort of the same vein because we know they're not gonna do it. Like, they're not gonna fully kill that, but they might just say, "Oh yeah, if you buy our games, we will make sure you're going to get a physical release, right?" So it's sort of a bit of a PR move, but I mean, like I said, I'm for it because I do love my physical games. So
No, I agree with you entirely on all that. I mean, me personally, yeah, I definitely coincide with all that. Especially like you said, movies kind of pointed out the issue with digital distribution a while back. Like you said, losing stuff as a particular platform gets shut down or things like that, and then you essentially lose access to those things. I was complaining about that the other day when we were looking to watch the movie Ants, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, this isn't available on any current streaming platform unless you purchase it. And it's like, well, I own the DVD like forever ago, so it's like forcing you essentially to rebuy a lot of this stuff. And it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Um, so yeah, I definitely get what you're saying there. Uh, Mega Man, personally, I'm just going to agree with you there because I just think, even though I'm not a fan of most of the games for Mega Man, with the exception of the Battle Network games, uh, I think it's an important franchise that they definitely need to keep working on, and a lot of people are really big fans of it. So
Yeah,
agree with you
and
on all
as
that.
you said, that it it does have a lot of potential to veer into different directions with with the Battle Network franchise, but you know, it's still like you're not gonna make it a big AAA blockbuster title because that's not what people expect it to be. Like it's not gonna
True.
work. I think that's sort of, if you look at that and compare it to maybe with Sega done with Sonic, well, they've maybe got a little better in more recent entries, but things like they never knew what to do with it, right? They just kept on trying to make some sort of make it bring it into 3D, right? Making it sort of like a Mario type title. Basically, I think that's sort of what they were always aiming for, but they didn't quite get that. What people want from a Sonic game is what they're used to, right? That's
Agreed.
what it is. And yeah, you can spin off, with something like racing or sports or whatever, but don't try to change what it is in essence. Like don't pretend that it has to evolve into something that isn't.
Agreed. Uh, Omar, what's your opinion on the matter?
Mm, I would love them to make a new Mega Man. Look like imagine so Mega Man can go multiple directions. Can go super realistic, or it can go cartoony platformers like um way less difficult and more like
Super realistic, so like the 80s box art thing.
super realistic. I mean like action adventure style, like how PlayStation does their games, something like that.
Ew.
No,
No,
you
I
would not
I
want
Mm-mm.
that.
no.
No.
The
Okay.
the only one that direction that I approve of is the Zero games, which are basically in essence the same, but they added some RPG like elements where you just collect these sort of cyber fairies and modify your power and stuff like that. So that's more customization options to your
I'm
character. But
a
in
Zero
essence,
fan, but I never played their game, so
they're great, and actually have a really good story. So I highly
mm,
recommend playing those.
I do know that their stories most of the time are original content. My thing
Uh,
is, my thing is
that's
this.
most stories. Okay.
I'm talking about their video game stuff. They're not rehashing the old story from the manga or anime. That's what I mean. When it
They're,
comes to this, is this
whatever.
um Mega Man, make a new Tendai. Like you can go all direction with this. You don't need to just make a platformer.
I mean, they have a turn-based. It's a network series,
Yeah, make a new one.
He said
or
more.
We just
or
had
the command mission, which was an actual proper RPG, 3D RPG with in the
yeah.
X series. Yeah.
I remember playing Mega Man RPG back then. A proper Mega Man 10
Yeah,
JRPG.
that was pretty good. Yeah.
Back then, I remember either PlayStation 2 or 3. I forgot which one. And yeah, like to me, it's this. This comment is allegedly coming from the investors. So if that's the case, then invest in some money and put that to work. What do you have to? You have nothing to lose. You already gave up on Okami and share other games, like for example,
Listen, Kinetsugami is its spiritual successor. Don't hate.
yeah, Kunitsugawa sadly it's not Okami. What I mean by
Oh
that is,
damn.
here's the thing: they made such a big fuss about Kunitsugami accessory and where you need to look up to find hidden shit to get a certain item for that, like paying homage to Okami. I'm like, okay, cool, and that's cool and all, but make actual Okami. Make Okami 3 or 2, because I know the second one they made was on DS and that shit bombed. But we are in a new. What I mean by that is this: every new generation, we get a new audience that are new to certain IPs, so they're willing to invest into them. Same with Mega Man now. I have not played. I played a few Mega Man games, but I don't recall ever beating any because I didn't grow up with Mega Man like that. Um, I would love to play Mega Man Turn-Based again, or I'm genuinely interested in a Mega Man action game.
So you
Like make
essentially
it
wish that they would treat Mega Man the way Nintendo treats Mario.
um basically yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that
No.
if
Like
it's done correctly. Yeah, I mean, look at Mario and the Rabbit uh,
Hmm.
team up. Like that's genius, and I hate the Rabbit
yeah,
because
I
they
don't like the
killed.
rabbits, but yeah, I
No,
love those
I
games.
hate. My reason for hating the Rabbit is because they killed Rayman for the Rabbit. Rayman used to
Oh,
be so
pro-
cool. Rayman 1,
properly
2,
kill
and
him.
3. And what did he say, Weeb?
Said, did they properly kill him?
Can you repeat that, please?
Go on, Omar.
I genuinely didn't hear what you said.
We know.
Okay. So mm, I miss the old Rayman. This rabbit thing just doesn't do it for me. So clearly, publishers and developers move on from IPs. We see that, but maybe there's hope for Rayman, for Mega Man, especially for it investor being the one that have an interest in. So who knows? Capcom bites the bullet and do something.
Yeah, hopefully we get
And
something good out of it.
yeah, as for the whole physical and digital thing, my thing is I don't know how much physical cost to the point of publishers now opting not to focus on them. Like what what does pub physical cost? You already took off so many things from physical that I'm like just make just make it physical, dude. You're losing money. How much money are you losing by making physical? Only to go back later and still make it physical. I'm like, okay. Like, look at what's that game name? A two game. You have Sea of Stars that went digital, but Sea of Stars is indie, so I understand them. But Alan Wake 2, I'm like, you are not a small publisher nor developer.
I
So
mean,
why?
they didn't necessarily
Sorry,
publish they didn't publish their own game. It was Epic that did it, and I just
Ye-
think there just wasn't enough in the budget to
I
cover
understand.
physical at that time, which is
Epic
why
is
they
good.
released physical later.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. By releasing physical later, you're actually killing your own momentum for the game.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, if you ain't got the money, you ain't got the money. I don't know what to tell you.
That's why I want to know just how much does it cost
It's
because
not
they remove so many
it's
things.
not necessarily just how much it costs. It's it's also what do you think is going to be the interest in that physical version upon release, and do you find the investment worth that release at the time? because you got to remember specifically that game, despite all the praise and even winning some Game of the Year awards and stuff like that, uh, the sales potential of the game wasn't really all that great. So they really had to sit back and think about that. The other issue is that when you publish publicly, they talk about how many games are sitting on the shelf waiting for a sale physically versus what you get from the start. Like what games are selling at the full $70 price tag physically versus them having to discount in order to move stock. So there's also that as well. So digitally, you it's made to order. You know what I mean? It doesn't cost you anything. Like when someone buys it, they buys it. If not, it's on the store and it's just sitting there. You can put it on sale or not, but you don't have stock that you created sitting there that cost you money to do physically, like physical does, that you need to then move in order to recoup the money from that. So I think that's more so the business aspect of it. But again, like you said, you would have to know what it costs to put something out physically. What does it take? How many things do you do? And that's going to be different per game because obviously some games know they're going to sell like crazy and they're going to sell millions, so they can get cheaper deals because they're going to print more discs, things like that. Like NBA 2K or Madden, they know they sell 10, 15 million copies per year. So, like, again, like if they would have made 2 million physical copies, like you'd have a ton of Alan Wake 2 copies sitting out there that were physical. Then you also have to keep in mind for which platform, right? So you have to gauge that as well. It stops them from having to gauge stock and put a bunch of guessing work out there uh, when they can just go digital and what they sell is what they sell. There's no overhead. You remove the overhead of physical releases. Could it have benefited them being physical initially? Possibly, but obviously, again, like I said, the sales potential for that game was kind of weird as well too because it didn't sell that well, despite like I said all the praise and it was slated to be one of the top tier games of the year. So that's
Did it
really
did
what you have to
was
consider.
it a Game of Year nomination? I can't remember. Did it get?
It
It
did
did, right?
win. It did get nominated,
It's
but it didn't
Okay,
nominated.
that's
win
what I
it.
thought.
Yeah,
Oh, I know I didn't win. I was just wondering if it got.
yeah, it was
Can't
nominated,
remember or not.
but it got
Yeah,
a
it
ton
got
of
nominated,
nominations.
but it actually won some stuff like over Insomniac, Spidey.
Yeah, they won quite a few things,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's the main issue.
which is crazy that it won quite a few, and that uh, didn't result to more sales.
I mean, but it's a horror genre, and the
Yeah,
horror doesn't always sell the best.
also it's way more unique than, for example, Resident Evil.
Yeah,
But yeah, for me, what contest it's like at some point, uh, I don't know. I feel like it's yeah. I I I genuinely think that the publishers need to sit down and think, and maybe they can. I don't. I'm so iffy about it because I think that they can do it this way. Well, if they did it this way, we're gonna go digital. Just make digital cheaper. Like you're not get anything out of physical, absolutely. Make it digital cheaper and call it a day. But then you're phasing out digital, physical. The question is to you guys: would you guys care if physical is gone forever? And
Yes.
but let me explain.
Oh God.
Physical is gone, but uh, games are digital cheaper, way cheaper.
Yes. Yes. I would still care. Yes.
Even though that buy most of your stuff with digital,
Yeah. I don't want options taken away from me. Why would I want That makes no sense.
Yeah. Fuck you,
mhm.
Omar.
I know it.
Like
I know
I
it
can do
would be
so much with
against it.
physical. Like I can buy it, I can sell it, I can gift it. Like it's mine and I own it. So if they decide they don't want to, you know, at any point they could just take the game away from me if I have it digitally. Like I understand that consequence of having that game digitally. Like it's not really mine. Like, but if I have it physically, I could play it, at least with PlayStation. But it's just that I don't want that. I don't want a all digital future.
Gotcha. But yeah, I'm done when it comes to this topic.
All right, and last but not least, Morgan.
Um, yeah. It's good to hear Capcom reiterate that. I mean, I think they had some kind of like stat. I think it was like 2020. There was like 80% of their 80% of the purchases were digitally. So I mean that's a significant portion of their profits that are digital. But it's good to hear them reiterate that, you know, they're going to keep physical for the foreseeable future. Um, I still think physical is very important. There's a lot of regions in the world that don't have access to great internet that can, support buying digital games all the time, even here in the US. So I think it's still important to have physical media available for
I
everyone.
didn't think about that, but yeah, you make a great part with
Yeah.
this one.
It yeah, so like I think that's also a big reason why they don't want to go all digital. It's just not feasible for everybody to do that right now. Um, it's also like it's just I don't know. I don't want I just don't like I said I don't like the idea of options being taken away. And I think most publishers are well aware of the backlash that would happen if they were to go all digital. I mean, we see even like we keep bringing up Alan Wake 2, but we saw the backlash of people upset about their decision to um, at least launch digitally. There's physical now, but they didn't specify if they were ever going to get physical. I guess they didn't really know, but we saw the backlash of that, and that wasn't people's most anticipated game of for that year, but it was still upsetting for a lot of people that they weren't going to release physically, especially since the first game did. Um, so yeah, it's physical is still very important to a lot of people, me included. I am still a fan of physical. I love physical. I love my steel books. Give me a good steel book, and I'm there all day. But yeah, I think it's pretty important to keep. People try to make it or frame it that all digital future for gaming is good and it's great, and oh, we have all these other media that are doing, but we have to remember like a lot of the digital mediums like music, a lot of that is streaming. You don't own that music. You're streaming it off of Spotify or Apple Music or Pandora or whatever, wherever you listen to you don't own that music. You're paying most likely a subscription to listen to that music. And when it comes to movies, a lot of it, we all consume it a lot, you know, um, through subscription as well. We stream those things off of Netflix or HBO Max or Hulu or Crunchyroll or wherever you stream your TV or movies. You don't own those. So it's like you want to go into gaming, you know, a a hobby that is very expensive, and you want to not own those pieces of medium. Like, yeah, okay. Um, people like to conflate, like I said, conflate all these different mediums that have gone digital. Try to say that gaming can do the same thing, but gaming is really the only medium where interactive with you know the thing that you've bought. You watch movies, you listen to music, but you interact with games. You can't you can't make it function the same way you can make music and television function. You can't treat it as the business the same way. And I think people, like I said, like to conflate it and be like, oh, it's all the same. You can do. No, it's not. And ownership at least for me, is very important. And like I said, I want to own my. I want to be able to play these games, years down the line. When it comes to it, like I still have that physical sitting on the shelf. So if I ever decide to pop it in, I can play it regardless of what the publisher or the developer has decided. Like, oh, we're no longer supporting it, or we're no longer selling it online anymore. You know, it, whatever decision they make, I can still have that game. So I don't see, at least PlayStation. I don't see PlayStation getting rid of physical anytime soon. Like I like we've said, you hear these people saying, oh, it's gonna go away next generation, like, or next generation is gonna be the last generation of physical. Like, I doubt that. I doubt that very much. Like I see digital, you know, going up. More and more people are definitely accessing digital, but the thought that that means that physical would go away doesn't make sense to me. Like, again, like I said, there's many parts in the world that don't have access to purchase games digitally, or at least an easy way to purchase games digitally. Like I said, internet, whether it be internet or what have you. So physical is still very much needed in our time until we get into a world where everybody has access to amazing internet. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, uh, Capcom and Mega Man. I don't really play Mega Man like that. I used to. Um, I haven't played it for like a couple generations now. Back when it was like the Marvel versus Capcom, that's when I cared for Mega Man. But I mean, I think it's cool that they're still investing in it. I think it's an important IP, and I absolutely loved the Mega Man Netflix. What was that? I can't even remember the name of the Netflix series that came on. I think it was earlier this year. It was fantastic. Um,
Anime
and
or
yeah, it was like the little Netflix anime thing. I can't remember
Yeah, I can't
what
remember.
it. Um, but it made me want to play Mega Man. I was, but yeah. Yeah, I think that's really all I had to say. Like, yes, physical is amazing. Keep physical, great. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, yeah. I mean, I agree with all that as well. We were gonna cover another topic, but I gotta cut it short because we're already hitting 3 hours. So, um,
Oh man, my bad, y'all. We spent like 2 hours, like, kicking in Omar's knees. I apologize.
no,
hey,
you're
you.
you're you're good. But yeah. So that's gonna do it for us today. Um, I'll say quickly that what it was, because I mean, obviously, it's pertaining to something that was current. But yeah, Xbox delaying Avowed, claiming that it was because they want to make more room. But I think everybody kind of has an idea of what's going on with Avowed, considering we've all kind of seen the state that that game was in. It kind of seems up and down in its development. So honestly,
Sorry,
that
that game looks amazing. Okay.
right. Yeah, it just seems like they need more time and they're just saying whatever, and you either believe them or you don't. But yeah, we're gonna cut it. That does it for us today for episode 27. Thank you for everybody who joined us in the chat. As always, it was good to see everybody. Fresh, Henry, Wara, um, the whole squad. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. I said Fresh, Henry. Yeah, it was somebody else I'm missing.
Fox.
Well, yeah, but somebody else was also here, but I can't remember. Um, but yeah, again, it was a great episode. Episode 27 in the books, as Omar loves to say all the time. Weeb, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on that cesspit called Twitter. And yeah, great show. And until next week, I guess. Other Nation.
Honor
Otter
Nation.
Nation.
Morgan, where can the people find you?
Oh, you can also find me on Twitter at Chill Bandit. Hopefully beating something else. Hopefully
Absolutely.
not getting distracted by new games. I don't even know why I'm saying that because I'm definitely. Um, I was gonna say something else, but I got distracted by thoughts. Okay, you know what? Never mind. See you guys next week. Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
Other nation.
All right. And Omar, where can the people find you, sir?
You can find me on Caravan for Job on Twitter. Shout out to everyone that came through. Great show, great conversation. Fuck you, Morgan, for kicking me.
The way he said
Right
that
now,
so casually.
um, yeah, hit that like button, share the stream out, and most importantly, play your games. Also, shout out to
Absolutely.
the Vitamin Jeep crew at 8 p.m. It's their time.
No doubt.
Oh, fuck those guys.
Yeah, and then as for myself, you can find me on Twitter at TheRealIn8. Like Morgan said, hopefully beating some of these games out here because it's a lot on the plate. Again, shout out to Kay and Nelson. You know, they couldn't be here today, but always missed when they're not. And, you know, as per usual, Otter Nation.
Otter Nation.
Other nation.
After donation.